Hi, Dawn. Hi, Ariel. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Didi's. Hi, Megs. Hi, Montserrat. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Trish. Hi, Roman. Hi, Alexis. Hi, Stacy. Hi, friends. How are we doing? Hi, Yarn Coco. Hi. How are we? I'm so excited for today's live. Yes, I'm so excited for today. I'm so glad everybody's so excited. Oh my gosh. Oh, Didi, you're from France. Hello. Hello. Hello to France.
That's my dad.
Oh, hi. I love that.
He's in France like cycling right now, and I just texted him like, "This is what I'm up to." I checked the time. I was like, "Okay, it's like 8:50. I don't know. It's probably 9 p.m. now." And I was like, I just sent him the link, and I guess he just logged on.
Hi, Drew's dad. That is so fun. Oh my gosh. Hi, Sway. Hi, Tiana. This is my first time here with you guys. Oh my gosh, and what a live to join us on. Hi, Aline. Hi, friends. Okay, hi. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
This is Drew.
I'm Drew.
We've been talking about her all week, hyping it up like for the last 2 weeks. Y'all, I'm like so excited for this live. I'm so excited. Y'all know me. I am very excited, very anxious, very nervous, and of course I have coffee, so that's making it worse. So bear with me, y'all, if I'm like talking too quickly or I'm moving too quickly, or of course if I'm missing anything in the chat, y'all know, like remind me, like, hey Sam, I asked a question up there, can you answer it? Send it again, whatever, totally fine. Try not to use all caps, it is distracting. Like just repeat the question if you have a question and I missed it. We're very, very excited. Y'all, okay, so Drew got here and there's so much roving on the floor. There's all these tools and gadgets. Drew's like, oh, I'll talk about this today. And I'm like, what in the world is that? He's like, oh, and then this. I'm like, what is that? And then, oh, yeah, and I did this and this is this. And I'm like, I'm so excited for today's live. So we're going to be talking all things spinning with Drew.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh
We're going to do a drop spindling demo. So very, very, very easy intro beginner to spinning, and hopefully it will be fun. And if you have questions, of course, ask them. The good thing is that spinning is a very like slow process. So hopefully we'll be able to all just calm down, have a nice calm Saturday.
Wait, everybody calm down. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Hi, Sarah. Nice to meet you, Drew. So nice to meet you, Drew. We're all excited. Thank you for being here. Hello, Drew. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hi, friends. Hi. Welcome to Crochet and Chat, our special episode, Spinning with Drew. This is a Yarn Over Hook production. Yarn Over Hook is a free social media for crocheters to create, learn, and connect with other crocheters from all over the world. You can join for free at yarnoverhook.com. If you are already a member, hi, hello, welcome. Thank you very much. Today is Saturday, friends. So we're going to get through our announcements so that we can get to the fun. Today is Saturday. So y'all know that we have a new video for today. A new one. I'm probably not going to pin it. I don't want to pin it. I don't know. Do I want to pin it? Let me grab it. Of course, I wasn't prepared with that. I got prepared with everything else. Diana. Alexis, hi.
Hi, Alexis.
Alexis is very excited. She's texting me too. We have a new video for today, episode 5 of the Great Summer Mosaic Crochet Along. So if y'all have not watched that yet, make sure you save it, watch it later, hang out with me later. You can keep the crocheting going, give it a like, a hype, a comment if you don't mind. New podcast episode as well. Hold on, Cal part 5. Whoops. There we go. So save that for later. New Exploration Crochet podcast. I'm really loving this series that Riri is doing, all about learning crochet and the beginning steps. This one is about making mistakes. I know we all love making mistakes. So definitely check this one out. It definitely is a really nice way to like validate making mistakes. You don't make mistakes, right? Ever?
Who makes mistakes?
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, never.
Perfect fiber artists. No mistakes over here. Definitely don't have to frog anything ever.
Never. I mean, I would never start a project, not gauge swatch it or something like that, or count wrong.
Miss a whole row.
I know how to count. First of all, I know how to count.
Exactly.
Because I went to kindergarten.
No mistakes here.
No mistakes.
So definitely check out that podcast episode. If you have not checked out the latest Crochet Stitch newsletter, make sure you check your inbox for that one. And wherever you listen to podcasts, the audio version of that newsletter is there as well. I think that's it, right, Roman? Is that it? Can we get into the meats and potatoes? The meat and potatoes? That's my new favorite phrase. Can we get into the meat potatoes? We're good?
Are we cooking today? I wasn't prepared.
You're like, wait, let me throw everything out and get my dish pan. Okay, great, yay. Roman says that's it. Okay, so we're getting into it. Friends, I'm so excited. Okay.
Do you want to share, though, about the newsletter really quickly?
Do I want to do what?
Share about the newsletter that you got featured in?
Oh my gosh. Okay, is there a link to that, Alexis? Can you share that on Yarn Over Hook? Lisa Ha of Get to Hooking Crochet? I always say it wrong. Why do I always say it wrong? Yeah, okay, I said it right. Featured one of our videos, one of the Stitches videos of us doing our random acts of kindness. Alexis sent it to me earlier, which is like super cool. I don't know if any of y'all get her newsletter is in your inbox, but her video is in there, and that's really dope. Oh, I don't have the link. It's in her newsletter email. Okay, I don't know if she has like links to newsletters, but if you get her newsletter and scroll down, you'll see me and Alexis and our goofy balaclavas. Thank you for reminding me. It's like so cool. But Alexis, if you want to take like a screenshot or anything and just share it on Yarn Over Hook, that was a really nice surprise. And thank you, Alexis, for sending that to me. Okay, now announcements are done. Okay, so we are gonna do all things fiber today. Like from the raw fiber, roving.
We have a sheep in the other room.
We do. We have a sheep that we're gonna bring in. We're gonna share it. We're gonna like wash everything.
It looks like a cat. It's definitely a sheep.
Definitely a sheep. Don't be fooled. It's a filter.
Movie magic.
Right? We're gonna go through the whole process and all that stuff. Jude's gonna walk us through that, and then we're gonna drop spin and spin our own fiber. We of course have the mani cam. We have the mani cam ready for y'all. So once we get through the chit chat and Drew's ready to show us everything, we'll turn on the mani cam. So tuck in, grab your water. Don't cheer Toshi. we won't. Could you imagine? Oh my gosh, we were brushing Toshi and didn't realize we were using a brush that was like you only do one swipe, otherwise it pulls their hair. So we were brushing, and then there was one spot, and I was like, why does it look like that? And like, poor Quentin, he like called me and was like, I mutilated our cat. I was like, what do you mean? And he sent me a picture, and it was like, he just like overbrushed one tiny little, like not even bigger than a quarter. And he's like, poor Toshi. And Toshi's just hopping around like nothing.
Not a care in the world.
Not a care in the world. He doesn't realize he has like a little patch. It wasn't even bald or anything. It was just thin.
Mm-hmm.
It was just thin. It grew back in like 2 days. Toshi completely unbothered. And Quentin's just like, oh. So no, we will not be shearing Toshi. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're good to go. So, Drew.
That's me.
That's you.
That's you.
Tell us about yourself. Tell us about spinning. So we'll start with like, what's your favorite fiber art?
Well, I feel like needlework doesn't necessarily count as a fiber art, but
Does it?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it could.
I mean, you need fiber, right?
Yeah.
For it.
So that's the craft that I've been doing the longest.
Mm-hmm.
So as a kid, I was taught to crochet. My mom crocheted.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a relative who tried to teach me how to knit, and I could not understand knitting
Mm-hmm.
at all. But I did a lot of needlework. So like needlepoint, embroidery, and then when I was in college, I got into cross stitch.
Mm-hmm.
And it was during the pandemic. And of course, as we all did during the pandemic, I think spent a lot of time on YouTube.
Yes.
And the algorithm,
Oh,
I
yeah?
feel like especially then, like the algorithm just kind of like started throwing things,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I remember one night I watched this video of a woman who was in a, like, it's called the SCA. I think it's the Society for Creative Anachronism. So kind of like a historical reenactment thing, but like focused on like the, you know, historical like way of doing things, but not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily like, oh, we live in the Middle Ages and we have to pretend. Like it's like a fun kind of lighthearted,
That's
like
nice.
let's explore these crafts kind of thing.
We're not
and
like prepping for war
hopefully
and
not.
like sewing uniforms and stuff.
Right. And so I found some of her videos, and she was showing how to use an inkle loom. And I'd never seen an inkle loom before, and you probably don't know what I'm saying.
No, what is an inkle
so
loom?
For anybody who doesn't know, it's INKLE.
Oh,
so like
inkle.
ink LE.
Okay.
And it's basically for making like thin bands. So like they would be used to weave bands or like belts or trims for historical garments. Like this was like kind of a very ancient way of weaving. It's very portable, small, and it was how they maybe had a little bit of decoration to their otherwise simple garments.
Wow.
And so I started watching her videos and then kind of just got into the rabbit hole, and I think it was 2021 or 2022. I don't know. I went to a friend's house for Thanksgiving, and she had got a like antique spinning wheel. And she said, "Do you want to try it?" And of course, I was an absolute disaster. Like, I have the video, and I'm like, I'm not even like, I'm trying.
You have a video of it?
I do.
Oh my gosh, what a treasure!
It's like me. I'm like, you know, treadling, which is basically like you're kind of using your feet to turn the wheel.
Yeah.
And I'm like holding the fiber, and not much is really happening, but it looks good.
That's the important part. The vibes are there.
So if I showed it to somebody who has no idea how to spin, they'd be like, "Oh my god, look at you!"
And you'd be like, "I know."
I'd be like, "I know. It's my first time. Who knew?" And so after that, I was like, "Well, I guess I should get a drop spindle and try drop spinning."
I guess this is now my entire personality.
I guess so. And then a few months later, I've kind of done some research, and I found the Greater Los Angeles Spinning Guild and attended one of the meetings virtually. So this was back then when there was also like a virtual option.
Right.
So attended their meeting virtually. I was like, okay, these people seem like pretty nice. Because it can be really scary to go into a new space.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Especially where you feel like everybody else knows exactly what they're doing.
Exactly.
And you're coming in and being like, I have this thing.
What do I do with it?
What do I do?
Yeah.
Is this right? And so like I went to the virtual meeting, and then I went the next month to an in-person meeting, and everybody was so nice, and they were showing off all the cool things, and they're like, you know, some people, of course, have been spinning for decades. Other people have been spinning just for a few years or a few months. And everybody's, like, willing to show you how to spin. So I started, you know, drop spindle spinning, got the hang of that. Then, of course, you're like, do I want a wheel?
And you have two now.
So I have two. Luckily, my mom is not watching this. She's like, can you get rid of one and or both?
Really?
So one of them is going to be, I think, finding a home with Alexis soon. It's gonna be,
Yay!
We're gonna be ding dong ditching a wheel at her house.
And then I told Drew, because Alexis was being too nice. Now she's accepted it, but kept telling you no. And I was like, just drop it off at her house. just leave it on the doorstep.
Yeah. So, well, actually, it was, have you ever been to Remainders in Pasadena? Yeah. So I used to volunteer there.
Oh.
And one day somebody brought in like a wheel, which would be called a Franken wheel, which is basically like, it's like a commercial spinning wheel, but like there's different parts that don't all belong together. And it didn't really work, and it was kind of broken. And I like asked, I was like, what are you guys gonna do with that wheel? Like, I don't think it works. And the woman said, like, I think she had used it for like filming, like a set piece. And so it wasn't necessarily meant to be for function.
Yeah.
And so they told me that I could have it. And so I brought it home, and like I scoured to get like the right parts
and everything. Oh my gosh.
And then of course tried to teach myself how to spin on it. And so it's an Ashford traditional, so you can look that up. They're basically like the workhorse wheels.
Okay.
So it's really cool actually. They have a whole catalog where you can see, basically you can date your wheel. You can see like each decade, like what design change they made.
Yeah.
And they go back, I think mine was from the 70s. So
wow.
But they go back even before that. Ashford is a very well-known company for spinning, like spinning wheels, looms, fiber tools, all of these things. And they have other wheels that are more modern and like portable. But this one is like the traditional, you think of it like, this is
like
a
the
wheel.
the stiltskin
Yes.
wheel.
Okay. Although there is somebody in the Fiber Guild, her name is Holly, and she takes her Ashford traditional like everywhere. And she just like on her Instagram
like,
yesterday, she was spinning in front of Mono Lake, which is like up north.
And she just drives around.
Yeah,
and
she just drives around and then makes these incredible pictures, posing with her wheel in all these cool places. And I'm like, Holly, why are you carrying that big wheel?
Oh my god.
That's what she likes to do. So full disclaimer, I did figure out how to spin on the wheel. I had an easier time plying on it because it's a lot of coordination. So you're using your foot, because you have to basically push down the pedal to get the wheel going, and you have to like have a rhythmic motion for that. And then you also have to be focused on what your hands are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very much like the pat your head.
Yeah. So do you sew?
Yes.
Okay, so do you find that it's a similar kind of thing when you're controlling the speed of the sewing machine and moving and controlling your piece? Which do you find easier?
Sewing.
Okay.
Because you can stop and start that much easier.
True.
So you can kind of step away, but with the spinning wheel, like it's in motion, and then you have to kind of. Sometimes you have to you move the wheel with your hand to get it going in the right direction, because you're going to be spinning in one direction and plying in the other. And so for a wooden wheel, right, it doesn't know which direction you want it to go. It's not electric. You don't just push a button the way that you would on a sewing machine, and you can push the button to backstitch and have it go the other way.
Yeah.
So you have to be kind of managing all of that.
Wow.
And managing the speed, because you can treadle faster and have the wheel spin faster.
But then you have to move faster.
So I was able to ply. I did ply something on my wheel, and I was like, we're going to call that a success. And then I've probably had my electric spinning wheel for a few years now.
Okay.
And
is it your eel?
That's the electric eel wheel, which shout out, and I'm waiting for. I got the notification that the fold is shipped.
Is Brianna here? Oh my gosh, Taylor, thank you. Hi. Sorry, we're really in it. Thank you so much, Taylor. Hi, Renee. Hi, friends. Is Brianna here? Oh my gosh. Sammy is locked in. I was. Thank you so much, Taylor. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Brianna was just sharing, hi Jen, was just sharing a video because we were talking about spinning in our YouTube members only live stream. Or no, I think was it then? Anyway, and she posted the video on Yarn Over Hook, and I was just watching it just yesterday, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Do you know when you're going to get it?
So it says the label has been created. I keep refreshing it every day, once in the morning, once at night, not obsessively. So hopefully it'll ship soon. So it's a newer model. It'll be 4-ounce bobbins. Yeah. And it'll pack flat, which I'm very excited.
The magnetic thing is super cool. I think what I like most about that company, specifically him, is that you can tell how excited he is to keep innovating that electric wheel. And so I can see why as soon as he'd come out with something else, you would absolutely want to back that. Somebody who is so passionate, that they're constantly where even in the video, he said something about oh, I might do that for next time. You could hear him talking through the next one and the next one and the next one, and how excited he is about making that spinning wheel. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, Brianna posted a video on Yarn Over Hook about the latest wheel, and it's the eel wheel. Alexis showed it a while ago on Stitches, her eel wheel. I added one to my birthday list, so Quentin might be getting me one. The Nano 2. Yes, because I know once I get into this is going to be...
It's really hard. It's very much a rabbit hole. Yeah. And the funny thing is that I joined the spinning guild, and I had been taught how to crochet, I had been taught how to knit, but they weren't things that I was doing regularly. Right. I just wanted to spin yarn.
When I met Drew, it was at one of our crochet meetups, and she brings it and she's starting to spin, and I'm asking all these questions, so what do you do with it? And she's like,
what do you mean?
Literally, you were
how dare you?
You were nothing. What would I do? And I'm you're spinning incredible thread.
You spin it so that you have a skein, and then you have the skein, and then that's it. It's much like buying yarn. The buying of the yarn and the using of the yarn are two very different things. The spinning of the yarn. First, there's the buying of the fiber, and then there's the spinning of the fiber, and then there's the using of the yarn, and those are 3 very distinct things.
I wish I could have captured your face when I asked. You were just because you were spinning, and then I asked, and you were like, use it. What do you mean?
It's to have.
Why would I use this? So funny. Trish, I'm locked in, just amazed of the process. I mean, I'm locked in too. Oh my gosh. Is Taylor still here? Y'all know I feel bad when I miss those things. Is Taylor still here?
Yeah, Stacy. So Stacy is actually a member of the guild. Oh. And she and I are co-captains of the guild's Tour de Fleece team. So that's an event that's running right now. I can talk a little bit more about that later.
Yes.
But I sent her the link. So hi, Stacy.
Oh, that's so fun. Hi, Stacy. Okay, so what was I? Oh, there was something I was going to ask you. Could you guess how much you've spun over the last 6 years then? since this has become like the hobby. We're all serial hobbyists here. We all collect hobbies. But this is like your number one, right?
So, sort of. I mean, I do still embroider and do cross stitch. So, like that, when it gets too hot, I will kind of pull out a project, like a stitching project, because sometimes in the dead of summer, which is really annoying because Tour de Fleece
is in the summer.
Because it runs along the Tour de France, and that's in the summer. I'm like, could we pick a cooler month to do this?
Man.
So sometimes, like, there'll just be that day, like, and like your hands are sticky, and you're like, I'm like, I don't want to touch wool. So I alternate. So spinning, and I've learned how to knit, and I've gotten better at crocheting, and weaving too is something that is part of the rabbit hole, and dyeing as well. So I do also, like, I brought some fiber that I dyed. Yes. So it's very much like you think you're gonna be a reasonable person, and you're gonna just be I'm just gonna buy processed fiber that's already dyed, and I'll spin it, and then I'll make something. And you're like, but what if I got like white fiber and I dyed it myself? Or what if I got, like, you know, just a sheer cheap fiber and then I processed it myself? And then you're like, well, where could I find a sheep?
Or I mean, like, that idea of starting from the very beginning, going through, having a full skein, and you're like,
have you ever heard of the sheep to shawl competition?
No.
You guys are going to die a little bit. So I've never done this.
Sheep to shawl?
There are people in the guild. So you can either look up sheep to shawl or sheep to sweater. The idea is you get a team together, and I think you have a set amount of time. I'm pretty sure it's 6 hours. You have somebody shearing a sheep, and then you have a group of people spinning the wool. So you're not going to wash it. You're not going to have time to wash it. You're not going to have time to, like, wash the yarn after and set it. You are going to have people spinning the yarn. And as soon as the yarn is
sheep.
As soon as the yarn is plied, somebody takes it and weaves it or starts knitting with it. And the competition is to see which team can go from sheep to shawl the fastest. And
there's so many competitions.
There's so many. So they happen all over the world. There's one that I'm pretty sure happens every year in San Diego. I think the San Diego Spinners Guild puts it on because they have tried to get the LA Guild to put together a team. Yeah. And we're all just like,
is it just, like, too intimidating?
Yeah, so we do have members in the guild who have done it, and you can look it up. I'm pretty sure they're recorded, so you can literally watch a whole video.
Look at this. Like, that came right off of a sheep.
It comes right off the sheep.
And it's going right into the wheel.
Yes.
Y'all, look at that.
So there are you can literally go from sheep to shawl or sweater or whatever it is you want to make. It's just that sheep to shawl sounds pretty catchy, so that's why they go with that.
Oh my god.
But you can literally go from the very bottom of the process. And so my friend Colleen, who is also a member of the guild, she has her own goats and alpaca. And so she, pretty much everything she spins has some of their fiber in it.
Wow.
And then, you know, not just dyeing, but, like, natural dyeing. So, like, Alexis and I are trying to start our own colony of cochineal bugs, because that's what everybody does, right, Sammy?
Everybody has bugs.
Everybody has an army of bugs. So I just have an army of bugs on a plant in my house, because what if a war starts? I need those bugs.
Right. I mean, you need the bugs.
So, but it's it's actually super, super accessible. So the first thing that I dyed fiber-wise was with food coloring.
How did that go?
It goes great.
Okay, because I know that, like, we don't have to get into, like, the too nitty-gritty of, like, dyeing, but I didn't realize that you have to use different dyes for protein-based fibers.
Oh my god, I didn't know. Did you learn that? No, because, Sammy, I got a whole kit of dyeing things from somebody in the Weaving Guild who was destashing, and she was like, first to respond gets it, and I responded first. And I just showed up to her house, and I just assumed, obviously, all of these dyes are going to be for what I would want to use them for.
Yeah.
And in retrospect, I did not know that there's, like, 8 different types of dyes.
Yeah.
So there's, basically, if you want to dye wool or another animal fiber, you're going to use acid dyes. So you're going to use acid. That means you have to use the dye, you have to use an acid, and you have to use heat to set the dye.
Oh.
For plant fibers, so cotton, linen, etc., you need to use fiber reactive dyes. And the cool thing, though, is that fiber reactive dyes were originally developed for wools. This was like in the 60s and 70s. And they're like, why are the colors kind of like not coming out how we want them to? What if we tried them on cotton and they worked on cotton and they were so much more vibrant?
Right.
So you can actually use fiber reactive dyes to dye wool. You just have to follow the wool dyeing process, and the color will change a little. So for dyeing plant fibers, instead of using an acid, you have to use a base, so like soda ash, or there's some other ones, and you can do it cold. So you can do a cold process dye. So if you think about like tie dyeing, you know how you can just kind of put the colors, and then you like, if you're, you know, tie dyeing a shirt, it says like leave it in a bag to like set. Yeah. Like you're not boiling the shirt to set the colors. It can just kind of set at that room temperature. That's the cold process dyeing.
Okay.
And yeah, so you can use food coloring as an acid dye. So you add in some acid, and for acid, you're like, oh, that sounds scary.
I know, I was like, what do you mean add an acid?
Vinegar. Just vinegar. White vinegar. Yeah. Distilled white vinegar. You can get a whole jug for $4 in the market. Does it, personally, there's some people who really don't like the smell of vinegar.
I don't.
Okay, I don't mind it.
Really?
Yeah.
As soon as I smell it, I'm like,
so it can be, you know, it's not, you're diluting it with the water. So it's not overpowering, but you know, it does smell like vinegar. So there are other acids that you could use, but vinegar, cooking vinegar is super safe, right? You're not worried about like caustic chemicals and all of that. And you just add in the vinegar, you can just drop in the food coloring, you have to obviously use something on your stove or a hot plate. You can dye in the microwave. There are videos for that. Like if you're like, oh, using the stove sounds really scary, or I don't want to mess it up. You can use the microwave, but using food coloring, it lasts. I mean, it works. I mean, if you're going to have a piece to, let's say, hang in your window where it's going to be exposed to the sun, any dye, like the colors will fade. Because they're not like these heavy, deep chemicals. But if it's something that you just want to make for fun and you're not going to be putting it in the sun every day or washing it every day, food coloring is a great first step into dyeing. So
wow, okay. So there you go, friends. I never thought to use food coloring. Everybody's saying that they want sheep.
I know.
I would also like to obtain a sheep just in case. This is my brother.
So if anybody obtains a sheep, I need like, obviously like a finder's fee. So I have to come meet the sheep. I want to be able to pet the sheep. Because I'm like, there has to be a small sheep out there. You know, like a house sheep.
Just a house sheep.
Yeah, it can't be that hard.
Like, just hanging out, and it's like, I'm ready to be made into a shawl. Sheep me to a shawl.
But, so I know you were joking before, people were joking about Toshi, but there are people who spin yarn from their pets' hair. Yeah, so obviously it's not going to work with every cat and or dog hair, right?
Because it's so short.
Like if you have a really short coarse breed, it's not going to work. But if you have like a husky or a corgi, shout out to Stacy's corgis, you know, they're very fluffy undercoat. You can mix that with wool or some kind of other fiber just to give it a little bit more stability and spin with it. So
wait, has Stacy spun with Stacy, have you spun with your corgi's hair? Use Easter egg dyes too. Oh, that's actually a good one.
So Easter egg dyes are basically the same thing as food coloring, so it's super easy. But the funny thing, though, is that everybody always says, like, the first time that you wash your pet hair yarn, it smells like a wet animal.
Yeah, yes.
But afterwards, I think the smell kind of dissipates. But if you use your dog's fur, it's called chiangora. So, like, the French word for dog, which I'm probably not saying. I don't speak French. I never took French. I took Spanish. But it's called chiangora instead of angora. So it's chiangora.
That sounds fancy.
And there are some people who have spun absolutely beautiful yarns out of their cat and dog's fur.
I'll have to look up some pictures. Trish has a question. What was the first thing you made, and was it from your own spun wool?
So actually, I have the first finished project that I made out of Handspun. I brought a few things. This was my first Handspun, and it's a hand knit. Sorry to like.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine.
So this was a combo spin. So basically in the guild, like everybody brings in different types of fiber and you split it all up and you're just supposed to take a bunch of different colors, a bunch of different fibers. So it's supposed to be mostly wool, but there is like also some silk. So you can see kind of the shiny bits. And the idea is just to have a bunch of different colors, which was very hard for me because my color palette is like blue, green, purple, pink. I'm not a big fan of like orange and yellow.
Where's the orange?
There's like, but it's just like a little
salmon-y.
So I actually brought in an orange fiber to like let other people take. And so now every year if somebody finishes spinning their thing, they'll be like, and this is Drew's orange fiber. It's like I'm haunted. Like I was getting rid of it for a reason. And it's like I still have custody. I'm still like the legal parent of it. And everybody's like, just so you know, this is, and I'm like,
somebody please take it.
Just stop. So yeah, but you can see like, even though it's all different colors and, you know, there's a little bit of different fiber types, it like when you do a project with it, like knitting, crocheting, or weaving, like it just all kind of blends out. And the nice thing is that it can be really hard when you're spinning to feel like, oh, it doesn't look like commercial yarn. But you're not spinning to make commercial yarn. If you want commercial yarn, you're going to buy commercial yarn.
Yeah.
So the nice thing is that it really just kind of all evens out. So this is actually a combination weaving and crochet. So it was woven triangles. So you can kind of see.
So fun.
And then I crocheted them together. And again, like you can just, please don't, I didn't weave in the ends.
And isn't that here?
So please do not come for me. I finished. It was a big project, so I got to the end and I was like, I'm gonna weave in the ends later, and then later has not come.
Wait, how long have you had this? And the ends aren't woven in.
What?
You're like, I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
So, but it's like super versatile. So you can weave, you can crochet, you can knit. I mean, you could do. I'm sure there's other things. I have stitched with my hand spun yarn, and it's just super, super forgiving because when you start out, I think the thing is that you like look at other people's yarns and you go, wow, they're so beautiful. Like they look so perfect and mine doesn't look like that. But the thing is that like when you're in, you know, when you have a finished project, you're not like, oh, I can see that little bump that I'm not happy with. Or, you know, oh, that crochet chain looks a little bit weird because, you know, it just all kind of blends together. And then it's just really fun to go from, I picked out a fiber, like I like these colors, I'm going to spin it, and then to make a finished object that you then get to like spend time crocheting. It's like so satisfying.
Right.
It's
like
so
it's
fun.
not, you're not thinking about like, oh, I could have done this better. Like that whole, I am like so excited to like officially learn spinning because being able to say like, oh yeah, I made this and I plied the yarn, I spun the yarn, I bought the roving, I like picked out my colors. I like, what's that called again?
The blending board?
Yeah. I blended it. Like, all that stuff. Okay. We'll get up close.
I have tools.
We'll get up close looks at what Drew made as well on the Manny Cam, but that is so cool. That is so cool. Okay, hi Nisi, how are you? Oh my gosh, hi Nisi, how are you? I love that color palette too, Drew. I was about to say that's Alexis's color palette. Your dad says that you spelled it correctly, or you said it correctly. I'm still collecting my corgi for future use. I love it. Hi Brianna, same. I don't like red, orange, yellow, but I rock with green, blue, indigo, violet, and pink.
And the nice thing is that like most of the people in the spinning guild feel very similar to me. So we're all constantly like showing off the same colors and buying the same colors. And then Stacy like she'll spin something that's like neon orange and it looks beautiful. And I'm like, good for you, Stacy. You can have the neon orange.
I love that for you. Oh, I love that color combo. There is no later. What ends?
Exactly. You guys, everybody's got great vision here. There are no ends.
Oh, thank you, Nisi. This is the festival blanket. Hi, Annette. Oh my gosh, Annette is here. You gotta tuck in your ends. Hide your ends.
Oh no.
No. Annette, don't look.
But the thing with handspun ends is like I made that yarn.
Right.
I don't want to
so
cut it.
You have to keep it on there.
Yeah.
There, done.
So it makes me so sad. I'm like, well,
what
I can't.
ends? They're embellishments.
Exactly. It's fringe.
Right, it's fringe.
It's just random placed fringe of different lengths in different places.
That's art.
Mm-hmm. You wouldn't understand.
Right.
You know? Guys, anybody who doesn't understand. It's just the artistic choice.
This is Annette looking for ends. Annette always comes in literally since day one. Annette, when have you've been here for over a year watching the live streams. And ever since day one, it's always like, Samantha, weave in your ends. So whenever Annette comes into the live streams, it's immediately eyes looking to be sure I don't have ends hooking out.
Well, at least on this one, I did weave in the ends. So.
Oh yeah, there you go. They're skinny tassels.
Yes, exactly. They're load-bearing tassels.
Tassels.
They're structurally necessary.
Hi, Michelle. Okay, so I think we're ready for the Manicam. Are we ready for the Manicam, friends? Let's start with an up close of your finished, and then like I'm just gonna let you lead, but I definitely want y'all to be able to see like what Drew has made with the fiber that she spun up close. So we'll get the Manicam.
Have this too, which was like I tried to.
That is so thin. Oh my gosh, I remember when you were working on this.
Yeah, so this is basically there are these shawls. There's a few different cultures that this is a tradition of, but if you Google like Shetland shawl, so Shetland, like from Scotland, or Irish wedding shawls, like they're these huge, gorgeous shawls, and the idea is that you're supposed to be able to pull the entire shawl through your wedding ring. Like that's how thin they're supposed to be. So that's a goal, a future goal that I'm working towards, like being able to spin and knit. So this is like a little sample that I did.
Oh my gosh.
So you can really like do absolute.
Little polio.
I can't cut it. I don't want to cut it off. Like it'll just stay there for now.
Tiny. What is this? A yarn for ants?
Well, they might get cold.
Oh my gosh. This would be like bulky weight for ants, y'all. We'll get the Manicam on so you can see how thin Drew can spin. That is absolutely wild, Drew. It's absolutely wild.
Yeah, so this is lace, and I had blocked it, and it seems like if you put it in a bag for storage, it maybe unblocks a little bit. So if I stretch it out. Also, I did a crochet bind off, which was a little bit of a tighter tension.
I was about to say it changed the tension a bit.
But I'm still very, very happy with how it came out.
Okay, so we're gonna do the Manicam. Oh, Taylor, you've heard of that. Are you gonna try and make one? I know Taylor knits.
I need to convince other people to do it so that we can do it together.
So you can do it together?
They're so beautiful.
I mean, that is incredible. And I've seen photos, and people make them like...
Oh, they're like blanket size.
Yeah, huge.
Huge.
Oh my gosh.
I can share some links later, because there are some really gorgeous free patterns too. So like if anybody, even if you, typically they are knit, and it's, even if it's not something that you think you would ever see yourself doing, like just looking at the photos and looking at the pattern and just being
I know,
like, how did
she
anybody
showed us
figure
the
this
pattern
out?
when you first were like starting this and you brought it to the meetup.
Oh no, but this pattern is nothing compared to the traditional.
Oh my gosh, that's so wild. Roman, no. Sammy tried to sell the idea of a project being done without the ends being weaved. Yeah, I hate weaving an end. I really do. Hi, Dee Dee. How are you doing? Hi, friends. Okay, so let's get the Manicam up. Drew is just gonna walk us through, man. So bring out your notebooks, bring out your jot spindles if you have one, bring out any roving if you have it, and we're just gonna dive in. Water break. We missed a water break. We got cheers first. Oh, we got cheers first. Cheers. Cheers. The first cheers. Drew's first cheers. Unclaw your hands, unshrimp your pastas. Hi, show me your knits. Just came across y'all randomly. Thought I would jump in. You're jumping in at a great live. Very excited to have you. Okay, let's get into this. Where's the Manicam? Okay, we ready?
Yes. And you guys can see I did a special manicure for the Tour de Fleece. So you may not be able to see because they're so tiny. I painted some very, very wonky sheep.
They're fun sheep. They're mid-leap.
Yes. Some of their eyes are maybe just looking, they've got their eyes everywhere.
They're fun sheep.
Which is important. You gotta have eyes everywhere. Your sheep have to be watching out for you. They can't all be looking in the same direction.
Right.
You know.
Okay, so this is the wedding shawl. What is it called again?
So this is a lace shawl.
Lace shawl.
I believe this stitch is a fan stitch. I don't know. I'd have to look. I got it from a book of traditional it was like a traditional lace knitting,
Mm-hmm.
which was so great. It had such beautiful patterns, except each pattern, it just doesn't say what yarn they used or what weight yarn they used. Or
what yarn is this? Because this is
would
incredibly
be like
thin.
lace weight / cobweb weight.
And you spun that.
I did spin this.
What is cobweb?
What?
What is cobweb
Like,
weight?
just teeny tiny, like, spider silk. That's like, I think that's where the name comes from. I'm not positive. So yeah, I spun this on a drop spindle, which is actually,
plied it.
yes, it is a 2-ply. So this size drop spindle. So teeny tiny little baby. I have different size drop spindles.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, this is like lace. This one would be, I think, more of, I'm really bad at estimating anything. So I cannot look at a yarn and tell you what weight it is. I have to like look at the label. And then I have to like read the label for what hook to use.
Oh,
and then I have to like look at them together and be like, is this right?
But you said that you have something that you've gotten with your electric wheel,
yeah,
right?
So I will show that. But I mean, just by eye. So like,
just by eye. Mm-hmm,
I think this would be maybe more of a fingering or higher.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm also really bad at remembering the order of yarn weights. So
she spins and it's just the vibe.
It's
just the vibe. She feels it out and it's
there,
like, yes,
there
I
are
like
people
this
who
weight.
like stop at every part of the process or will say, oh, I really want to make sure to spin a yarn that has this exact wraps per inch for this project.
Mm-hmm.
I would never finish anything because then I will, the yarn that I'm spinning, even just, I'll kind of figure out like how I think the yarn wants to be spun.
Yeah.
And then I'll look at it and be like, is this right though?
Right.
Am I doing it wrong?
Right. You'll be thinking about it too much.
And it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. So this one, you can see like this yarn is definitely thicker. And for weaving, I actually held 3 yarns together because I really wanted to try to have, oh, it's upside down where all the ends are, but you can see the ends in terms of the thickness. And you can
the tassels. You can see the tassels.
The tassels, yes, the load-bearing tassels. That these are a little bit thicker, and also they vary, in thickness a little bit, as opposed to, again, a commercial yarn, which would be much more even. Although there are commercial yarns that are, a little bit more textured.
Yeah, and like fun. It looks very natural looking.
Yeah, so like this one, I held 3 together for each woven triangle because I wanted a dense fabric, and then I crocheted them together and did a little crochet border.
To crochet it? It looks like single crochet.
I think it's just single crochet.
That is so
and
fun.
I just did like a few rows because I had extra yarn at the end.
That's a lot. And you spun all of that and plied it.
Yeah, so this was spun on my electric eel wheel. So the lace shawl, that was spun on a drop spindle by hand.
Wow.
And these 2 were spun on my electric eel wheel.
Oh my goodness.
And if we want to...
You can put them back here.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to put them up there. Oh my gosh. Hi, Samantha. You're here. Annette. Beautiful work. Beautiful. Everybody's saying you look so nice. Taylor said, same, Ju, same. Yeah, I feel like if you put too much thought in it, it takes the fun out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe I would like if, like, when I learn to spin, I'd want to spin with, like, a blend of, like, I'm going to use this, but I'm also just spinning because I want to learn how to spin and I want to have fun spinning. And you find yourself, like, kind of, like, leaning more in the, like, I'm spinning for fun. Right. And I just like to have my hanks. Mm-hmm.
Well, and also, like, your first handspun is... it's not going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
No handspun, there's no perfection in anything, really.
Yeah.
We can tell ourselves that there is, and we can beat ourselves up if we make a mistake and say, oh, it's not perfect, but nobody else ever knows.
Right.
It's only us. And then after a while, if you ask yourself, like, oh, can I find that mistake that I made in that project? Probably not. And so your first handspun is just to get the hang of it, to get the feel for the fiber, to get the feel for, like, the technique. And then as you go on, right, that gives you the opportunity to say, like, okay, do I have this roving and I just feel like spinning and I'm not really sure what I want to do with it? Or did I see a project that I intentionally want to spin for? Because there are some projects, like there are some designers who design for handspun, right, where they make projects that are meant to show off the different colors and the different textures.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes complete sense. I feel like finding that balance, and especially if you're learning, like in the beginning, like spinning just to spin
Yes.
is probably the best practice.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think that's how it is for everything. Like, when I was picking up crochet again, like I was like, let me just kind of do it, and you can unravel it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can frog it and just then reuse the yarn, or you might make something that you're like, oh, this is my first project and I want to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about spinning is like you also kind of have a similar opportunity. I mean, you can spun yarn. I wouldn't encourage you to. I've done it, and it's
just to do it. You've done it just to do it, or you did it because you made a mistake?
No, I've done it just to do it. But it's like you don't have to have like the perfect use for everything, right? Sometimes you just keep your first hand spun because you're really proud of it.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's also very forgiving in the way that, I personally think crochet is a more forgiving of mistakes than knitting is, because it's just easier to like frog back with crochet. With knitting, I am not at the place where I could like confidently go back and fix a mistake seamlessly.
Oh, okay.
But like with spinning, if you like spin a section and you're looking at it and you say, I absolutely hate how that looks, like you just let the twist run out, and then you can just kind of tease out the fibers and fix it. So it's like there's not any irreversible mistake that you can make.
Okay, so drop spinning is good for beginners.
Yes.
You can undo it.
Yes.
Just do it for fun.
Yes.
In the beginning, like test things out, figure out the gravity of it all, and just have fun. Low stakes. Stakes.
Do you know why they're called drop spindles?
Why are they called drop spindles?
Because you're gonna drop them.
But
no, seriously though.
No,
because
yeah.
You're gonna drop them because you're not gonna have a drop spindle, hopefully, made of glass.
Hopefully. I mean, you've shown me some that are.
Those are support. So those are not.
Okay, right.
Like a traditional drop spindle, they're going to be made of wood. In our modern world, we can have them made of 3D printed materials. But the idea is that like you guys won't be able to see the ground. But I just dropped it.
It shattered.
I can't believe your soft carpet broke my very expensive $20 spindle. But the idea is that you're gonna make mistakes, and that's okay, and you don't have to be perfect. So do we want to kind of just get in?
Let's get into
basics?
like the demo. Like Drew's just gonna take over. Montserrat should be the Manny cam, and we're at the top. Like y'all should be able to see us up here. But if you're watching vertical, then you'll not be able to see us. So definitely watch horizontal. Watch horizontal. Okay. I've been practicing with my spinning wheel. Samantha has a spinning wheel that she's been practicing with.
What kind of spinning wheel? If you know, I'd love to know.
Thank you so much, Trish and Taylor. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down to like get into it. Samantha, let us know what spinning wheel you have. And yeah.
Okay, so how about we can use the Manny cam for a little bit, so I can just do a quick introduction of the materials, and then we could switch.
You just let me know when you want to demo here, and when you want to demo here. If you want to show something here, like you let me know. I'll just switch back and forth.
Okay. So we have the Manny cam though.
Currently we have the Manny cam. Okay. I can switch back because you're showing your spindles.
We'll go here first, just so I can show people the different materials, and then we will go into our full camera so that we can get drop spinning.
Yay!
So here, I actually spun some yarn right here just for Sammy to play with and for our live today. So I'm going to show this.
Thank you again so much. I love it so much.
I can't wait to see what you do with it. But so this is a little card, and you can probably, I'm sure that there's like a printable version of this that you can find if you look it up. This came with my electric eel wheel. So this is a spin card. So on one side, it has a diagram reminding us of what Z twist is and what S twist is. And this also has the angles so that you can check basically how tight your ply is. So there's not a right or wrong number to hit. It's just showing you basically how tightly, closer to 60 degrees, or how loosely, closer to 10 or 0, your yarn is being spun. And then on this side, we have a nice little WPI. And so what you can do is while you're spinning, you can check your yarn up against how thick it is. And you can also do a ply back test. And so this will kind of give you an idea of the gauge of the yarn that you're spinning. So again, if you're spinning for fun, this is not something that you have to be super worried about. But if you are a person who, let's say, only knits, crochets, or weaves with a specific gauge of yarn, then you might be like, well, I want to make sure I'm making yarn that's usable for me. So you might be more focused on checking the weight of your yarn as you're spinning. So here, hopefully you can see, this one is, I spun the single. So when we spin, we start by spinning like one thread, basically, like just think of like a 1-ply yarn, and that's our single. And then if we want to ply it, then that becomes our plied yarn. So a single is basically an unplied single piece of yarn.
So it's very similar, friends, if you were here last Wednesday, to the yarn that Alexis showed from Michael's. How it wasn't plied, it was just like open. It was very loose. It wasn't a really good example, but that would be considered one. Can I take a picture of your card?
Yes.
And I will post this on Yarn Over Hook, y'all, so then you can see it. Spin card. Let me see if I can find this.
So this one, this single, I spun S. So I spun this counterclockwise, and then I plied it Z, which is clockwise. And this one I did the opposite. This one I spun Z clockwise and plied S counterclockwise. And so most commercial yarn is typically going to come out spun S twist. And I don't know exactly why. I don't know what...
Because it's spun for knitters.
Right, but I mean, I don't know in terms of typically like why originally that decision was made with like yarns that maybe have multiple plies, or there's like, it's spun for knitters, but it's also like one of those questions of like, how did people discover
like
these
that
things?
was like, why was that decided?
So, and this one, basically, if we held them up together, and we can take pictures and, you know, have close-ups, and you guys can zoom in, they're basically going this one has the plies going this way, and this one has the plies going this way. So I spun this one to specifically be better for Sammy to crochet with, because when you are knitting versus crocheting, the way that you are twisting the yarn with your needle or your hook is different. They are opposite. And you can, of course, obviously, I'm sure a lot of you have crocheted with commercial spun yarn that is, plied this way, and you can crochet with it. And it, especially if it's a commercial yarn that's plied very tightly, like a very, not a loose yarn, it's maybe not as noticeable. If you are crocheting with a very loose hand spun that is plied in the way that a commercial yarn would be, you might notice it more. You might notice, oh, why does the yarn look like it's kind of untwisting as I crochet with it? And that is because yarn at its core is twist. You have fiber, and if the fiber doesn't have twist, it's going to fall apart. And so if you are doing something that is impacting that twist,
right,
like with crocheting, then you might notice it in your finished piece.
So we've talked a lot about S-twist versus Z-twist. Elise Rose does a deep dive into it. One of my favorite books does a deep dive. It is The Perfect Crochet Finish by Jane Crowfoot. Talks about Z-twist and S-twist. If you're a right-handed crocheter, the way that you move the yarn and manipulate the yarn, with an S-twist, you could potentially, you're loosening that twist that Drew's talking about. If you're left-handed, it's fine. But if you're right-handed and you're crocheting with S-twist yarn, you're loosening that twist. You're countering that twist. And then if you do a Z-twist yarn, it's tightening that twist. So that's why I really love 24/7 cotton, mercerized cotton. That tends to be very much Z-twist. And Bella Coco's yarn, she specifically plied Z-twist for crocheters, for right-handed crocheters. So when you look at some of your fibers, I know Puzzle Yarn by Premier is also Z-twist. We'd also discovered some other Z-twist yarns. I think Vanna's yarn, I think, is also Z-twist. Paying attention to the direction that it's plied, and check out the difference, y'all. If you've ever worked with Z-twist yarn, you can see the difference and how it locks into itself. One of my favorite garments I made with Bella Coco's yarn. The stitches are so defined because I was crocheting with Z-twist yarn and it locked that twist in really nice. It is so, like, I'm just telling you, like Z-twist yarn, if you can get your hands on some Z-twist yarn, try it out. If you're a right-handed crocheter, it is like life-changing. When Drew told me that I could ply and make my own Z-twist yarn, I got so excited.
I think that's what led me to being here today.
Yes. She's going to teach us how to make yarn for crocheters.
Yeah, so it's, obviously if you are spinning just to practice, you don't necessarily have to pay as much attention to which way you start. The most important thing is that whichever way you spin, you have to do the opposite when you're plying it. And you don't have to ply. You can make a singles yarn and you don't have to ply it. So then you would maybe spin a Z-twist single to then crochet with if you didn't want to ply it. And it doesn't matter. So as long as you spin one way and ply the other for a finished yarn while you're practicing, that's the most important thing. And if you say, well, how will I remember which way I spun? If you start plying the wrong way or spinning the wrong way after putting it down, the yarn will come undone, or it will get kind of all
and then
wiggly,
you'll know.
And you'll know. It's something that you figure out very quickly. So before we get into the drop spinning, I wanted to give a quick introduction to fibers. So the most important thing, obviously, if you are going to start spinning, is to pick a good fiber, because there are so many different types of fiber out there, because there are, I don't know, hundreds of breeds of sheep.
Yes.
There's alpaca, there's goats, there's Angora rabbits, there's all of these different fiber sources, and then there's the natural fibers. So I have some cotton here, and this is some alpaca, which is just sheared.
It is so
and
soft.
not combed. And it looks very much like people hair, which is...
It's not YouTube, it's alpaca.
Not, but it can be very disconcerting. So like it's uncomfortable for me even to pull it out. I'm like, this looks like people hair.
But it's not.
But it's not.
It's YouTube, it's not.
It's very soft.
Alpaca.
My hair could never. I wish it could. I would love to have alpaca soft hair. Unfortunately, that's not in the cards. So the most important thing when you are picking a fiber to start spinning with is the staple length. The staple length is how long the fiber is. The shorter the staple length, the harder it's going to be to spin.
Okay.
Because the shorter the staple length, the higher the twist you're going to need to lock everything together.
That's what you were saying, like, if I were to spin Toshi's hair, not shear him, but take his shedded hair, it would be pretty difficult.
So we can see here, I brought some cotton, which is traditionally one of the shorter staples of fiber that you could easily get. There are some very expensive animal fibers that are very short, but we're not going to be coming across those. So with cotton, the way that you find a staple is you just pinch your finger and you pull out a piece. And let's see, I'll put it against the alpaca hair. You can see how short that is.
So short.
And how easily I'm pulling it apart. So we don't want to spin with that for our first time.
No. Were you spinning? Is that what you were spinning when we met? You were spinning cotton at one point, right? Or I think Alexis maybe just told me that you had spun cotton at one point.
I had spun some cotton. It's definitely, that's like more advanced. I'm not, there are people who can spin cotton straight from the seed, like not even take the seeds out. Oh, do we have a little?
Yeah. When I met Drew, this was one of the first things that she gave me.
I came to the meetup and I had been given a bag of raw cotton, and I was like, oh, I'll take it to the park because other crafters will be like, wow, raw cotton. Because again, totally normal thing. Doesn't everybody make
Carry
new friends?
raw cotton around and hand it out.
So this is how cotton grows when it's dry. So when it's on the plant, it kind of makes like this little shape, and then it opens up. And here's the little cotton. And so if we pulled this apart, there's like seeds in here. So you would pull out the seeds probably just before you spin. But there are people who will literally just
spin from that. Stop.
Yes. And some of them are in the guild. And I'm like, how do you do that?
Are you serious? That is incredible. That is so, so cool.
So,
Samantha, what are the cards called and where can we buy one? So that's a WPI spin card. This one is specifically from the electric eel wheel that came with your electric eel wheel, right?
Yes. He might sell them on his website, but I would be really surprised if there wasn't like a printable version.
Yeah, I saw, if you look this up, like I posted it on Yarn Over Hook, I posted close-up pictures. So if y'all maybe like Google reverse image search that, you might be able to find it, but just go to electriceelwheel.com and maybe he sells this like this exact card individually. No worries, no worries, Nisi. I have been watching a lady on YouTube with spinning on a wheel. She said it's clockwise for single ply, anti-clockwise to ply.
So that is traditional for basically replicating commercial handspun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you will be plying clockwise or spinning clockwise or Z twist, and then plying counterclockwise S twist, which is great for knitting and weaving, and you can crochet with it. But if you want to crochet, if you want to spin yarn to crochet, you probably want to do the opposite. You would probably want to start by spinning counterclockwise S twist and then ply clockwise Z twist.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of, we've just showed some fibers that would not be good to start with. This is basically roving. So this is carded. I always forget, but it's basically the fiber has been prepared in a way so that all of the little hairs are going in a straight line.
Ah, and so it's like set up perfect to pull from already.
And now if you want to test the staple length of your fiber, you just pinch the end and you pull off. So this staple length is closer to 3 to 4 inches.
Yeah, I'd say that's like 4.
Again, I'm really horrible at estimating things. I don't know. So, but this is like, basically what that means is it tells you how much length you have before you have to overlap the next amount of fiber. And so you typically would probably want to find a fiber that has a staple length of 3 or more inches, but you also don't want to get a super long staple length. So there are very long-haired like sheep and goat breeds
Why
that
don't
have
you want
like
to get too long?
7, because then you're going to be having to pull so much.
Oh,
so when we get into the spinning, it'll be more obvious.
Okay.
And then here, these are just basically this fiber that I blended some colors.
So I'm sorry, you call that a specific roving. What is technically roving? Like, it's different from what you were showing us with the alpaca and the cotton.
Yeah, so the cotton and the alpaca are both like uncarded.
Uncarded.
Carding is basically how you align the fibers together. So this is a blending board, and this on the blending board is carding cloth. So, and it comes with this little brush, which you'll notice looks very similar to pet brushes that you can get. So, excellent way to start trying to process your own fiber is with those really cheap pet brushes that have these same little tines where they go like this and then they go like this. And obviously it's, am I going to want to sleep on this? No. But is this going to, like, if I slip, like, I can rub my hands like this, it's not going to cut me.
Okay, I see.
So there are other fiber processing tools that are sharper and a little bit more dangerous, but this is like very easy to use. And so basically I just took these fibers, and if you want to blend or card your fiber, so if we pretend that this fiber wasn't straight, already you're just pulling it through the teeth, and then you see how it kind of gets them all in a straight line.
To go up a little bit. There we go.
So now they're like in this straight line. So
it's like combing it, taking it through.
So like I could do that. This isn't there for cotton. I would want something where the teeth are a lot closer together.
That makes sense.
So we're not gonna, but you can see that if I do this, how it's just kind of pulling them, and it's making them kind of all go in the same direction.
It's like lining them up.
Yep.
It's getting it ready to be pulled just straight, and you don't have to think about, people pull that raw. How do you do it raw? Wait, how does that work?
We'll talk about it. So,
before we move on, quick water break. Cheers.
Cheers. So, if we want to move on to getting our drop spindles.
Already? Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we're leaving the mani cam?
Yes, we can leave it.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Friends, we're here. We're ready. Are we ready? Oh my gosh.
I'm ready. I was like, where did the leader go? So we have, these are called top whirl, WHORL, top whirl drop spindles. What that means is that the whirl, the weight of the spindle, is at the top. How do you know what the top is? There's a little hook. It could be if the hook was at the bottom. If the hook was here, then this would be a bottom whirl drop spindle. So, like, where did the big one go? This is a Turkish spindle. Or a cross arm spindle, but this is also a bottom whirl spindle. So the weight is at the bottom, and we're going to be winding on above the whirl. On these, we're going to be winding our yarn below the whirl. So we're not going to be winding any yarn up here.
So in what circumstance would you pick either one of those?
That can really just be preference, personal preference, the weight of the spindle, how you like to spin. It doesn't really affect the yarn. You could spin any type of yarn on any type of spindle.
Okay.
It just kind of comes down to personal preference.
Okay.
And you can have like smaller little baby spindles. I love tiny spindles because they're just so cute.
Small too.
Yeah.
So
But they're just so cute, and you can, take them anywhere. And they also make tiny Turkish spindles.
Oh my gosh. That is so
So the winding on this one is different. So we can, if we have time, we can get into that later. But the first thing that you're going to need to do with your drop spindle is you're going to want to put on a leader. So can you spin yarn straight from the hook? Yes. Do you need to push yourself to do that? No. Okay. Do I push myself to do that? No. Okay. I would only push myself to do that if I was alone on a desert island and I mysteriously had a drop spindle and roving and no yarn already made. Or scissors with which to cut said yarn. Then I would be like, oh well, I guess this is it. I'm on this weird deserted island with just my spindle and my roving, but no yarn. So the way that you make a leader is you can take any yarn, and we are going to tie a slip knot on one end and slide the bottom of the drop spindle and just tighten it. And then you can...
Does it matter where your feeding yarn is? Because I think you made the tail the feeding yarn. Does it matter at all? Okay.
No. So then you can kind of wind around the tail a little bit just to secure it.
So it's not spinning around?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Roll around tail. Okay.
And then most drop spindles will have at least one notch or more.
Hold on, I messed it up. I'm sorry, Alexis. I pushed up the thing. Thank you, Alexis, for lending me your drop spindle. Hold on, I messed up already. Oh no. Okay, we're back. So then, does it matter the direction I wind around the tail?
It doesn't. Yeah,
Okay.
So the thing about winding on, that direction does not matter at all. That just depends on which way you feel comfortable holding the spindle. That direction does not affect your twist. Okay. So then you're going to find a notch. So your drop spindle has 4 notches around. Mine has 2, and then you just kind of put your yarn through the notch, and then you're going to come and wrap it around the hook just to make sure it's secure.
Like that? Okay.
And then we are going to, you can park it between your knees, and we will make also a little slip knot.
Y'all can't give me any grief about my tails at all, ever. Drew's tails now takes the crown for shortest tails.
Well, we can make it bigger.
No, it's perfect. It went around the hook.
Now it's just a knot.
I can make this shorter. I twisted this a lot here. I can make this smaller.
Okay, no, that's good.
Okay.
Okay, so what we're going to be starting with is the park and draft method, which you won't really be able, I think, to see our knees, but I will call out when we are putting the spindle between our knees. Basically, your knees will act as like a third hand to help you manage your spindle, because the thing about a spindle, right, if we're spinning it one way, so if I spin it all this way and I'm not paying attention, it's going to start unspinning and undoing. And so we can use our knee to just kind of hold it. Otherwise, you have to be paying attention, right, to everything that's happening at once. And when you're getting started, that's a little bit too much to pay attention to.
So parking it. You can see mine just a little bit. Let me tilt this down so that y'all can see a bit more. There we go.
Okay, so we will do a drop spinning specifically for crochet. So we're going to then be starting our spin counterclockwise, but we've got our loop, so we're keeping our loop open, and then we're going to grab our fiber.
Oh, I'm going to start. Should I start with that? With what you've already done?
You can start with whichever one. I want that. Okay. So this is basically like a little mini blend of fiber. It's kind of a teeny tiny batt, B-A-T-T, which is a specific way to prepare fiber. So like the roving, like this, you're not going to be able to prepare that at home. These are like very fancy machines that like basically make like a chunky single ply yarn.
So you're saying you can't make roving at home?
Like it won't look like commercial roving.
Okay.
You can card it and comb it and all of that, but it's not going to look super perfectly nice like this because you don't have a $10,000 wool mill at your hands.
Well,
if
Drew
you do,
doesn't. Maybe I do.
I was like, if you do, let me know. But what this allows us to do is you can see I can then just kind of pull off a certain amount of the fibers and have all of these nice colors together. And this is called pre-drafting because as you spin, you are drafting your fibers out. And that way you aren't having to do as much fiber management while you're spinning. So you can start with that. And you can just start, like, if you watch me, you're like, oh no, I broke the fiber. No, there is no breaking the fiber. I mean, if you cut through fiber, you're breaking it.
Yeah.
Then you're changing the staple length. But this is just lightly pulling the fibers apart, and we can pick up more of this when we are ready.
Okay.
Are you ready? Let's take some deep breaths.
Everybody calm down.
Okay, so I am right-handed, and you are also
too.
right-handed. So I'm going to be showing how I, as a right-handed person, spin. So I usually hold my fiber in my right hand, and then I will be spinning and holding the drop spindle in my left hand. But of course, if you feel comfortable with the opposite, even if you aren't left-handed, like it might feel more intuitive one way over the other. Whichever hand you hold your fiber in and your spindle in does not change the twist. So that's not something that you have to worry about. So how we're going to start is you're going to pull a little end of the fiber. And we are just going to feed that through our loop.
Is this big enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll come closer to the camera. So you can see I've got my spindle hanging from this fiber.
Okay. And then I just put it in the loop.
Put it in the loop.
Okay.
And then with our little tail, so I've got my tail in my left hand and the rest of my fiber in my right. I'm going to just bring them together. And pinch them both. So I'm pinching the end so you can see the circle, like that there's a circle of fiber. Okay. And now it can support itself because this loop is shorter than the staple length of our fiber.
That makes sense. You're overlapping the staple length. It's not like towards one end or the other end of the staple length. It's in the middle of the staple length.
And that's how you make yarn. You know how they lay bricks? So you go like boop, 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 boop. Right. That's the staple length. You're going to always have the staple length overlapping.
Yep.
And we now have our starting loop, and we're going to give it a twist.
Which way?
So we're going to go counterclockwise to spin for some crochet yarn.
Right. Okay.
So you can either... So if you don't manage the rest of your fiber, it will get caught. But guess what? Everything can be undone. So you can just kind of tease.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I like to just flip it over like my wrist. If you have like a little scrunchie or a rubber band, you can tuck it in and feed it through.
I got too excited.
But we're going to let it twist.
Okay.
And so you can either, this is like flicking to get it spinning, or you can use your leg and like run. Yeah, you can see you can run your spindle along the length of your leg like faster to get it to spin.
Oh, nice.
If this motion doesn't feel right to you. And now you can see on mine, that there is a lot of twist built up right here.
I can turn back on that if you want to show it closer.
Okay. Left out. See, if I have the twist trapped between my left thumb, and so if I feed in more fiber, the twist is going to spiral up. But what you can see is if I do that, the yarn like really wants to twist back on itself. And that means that we have a lot of twist in the yarn. So spinning is basically finding the balance between too much twist and not enough twist.
Okay.
And if you are planning to ply your yarn, you always want your single to have a little bit more twist, because when you ply it and spin it the reverse way, it loses some of its original twist.
Right, okay.
If you're spinning a single, you want to have a more balanced amount of twist.
Okay.
So if you say, well, okay, I have too much twist in my yarn, you don't need to untwist your spindle. You don't need to spin it the other way. You just feed in some more fiber. So again, right now, I use my left thumb and pointer finger to hold the twist down here. And then I hold my right thumb and pointer finger to keep the twist from moving into the rest of my fiber. And then watch what happens when I let go of my left hand.
Oh, it twisted
the twist
up.
Travels up.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm still pinching here because if I let go, this will happen. So the twist will slowly travel up and then it'll lock kind of here, so then I can't pull
right,
more fiber.
I think that's what just happened to me.
But what you can always do is you just pinch back here, let your fiber kind of untwist.
Okay.
And then to pull out more fiber, you're just kind of gently, like there's a baby bird in your hand, and you're just being very gentle. So we're not clenching tight like we would if we had a hook in our hand. I mean, I don't know anybody who would do that. Personally, hold a hook really tight.
Not at all.
I've never met somebody, never seen that person in the mirror, or heard that person's voice in my head all the time. I personally would never.
Never.
But that's not what we're doing here. So we do want to have tension here, but with our fiber, we just want to be nice and gentle, and we're just kind of pulling away, and we're just letting the twist move up. And so now, if I say, oh no, I added too much fiber and I don't feel like I have enough twist, I can just go and I can spin and add a little bit more twist. And then you say, okay, well, how do I know if it's got enough twist? I want to make a plied yarn and I don't know if I have enough twist. You can do a ply back test. So this will be a little bit challenging just to keep everything under tension, but this is my single. So this is a single yarn. And if I fold it back on itself and now I'm pinching my fingers down here and I let it go at the top, we can see this will give us an idea of what it would look like as a two-ply. So it's not going to be exactly perfect because you can see kind of it looks different here at the bottom and at the top than it does in the middle, and that's just because we're folding it back and it's a very small section of fiber, so it won't be a true representation of our full skein.
Mm-hmm.
But this now gives us a better idea of how thick the yarn will be. And if we want to switch back to the full screen, you're going to notice, especially for your first time, that you're going to have sections that are a little bit thicker and a little bit thinner.
I like how she immediately grabbed my example.
No, I have mine too, but it's just it's a little bit less noticeable.
You can see like it's thinner in some areas and thicker in some areas.
That is super normal. That does not affect anything. This has to do with physics. I never took physics. So I don't know actual physics. And so I could be wrong. But
disclaimer.
We're going to assume that I'm not wrong. Because otherwise, why would I be here? Because I tricked Sammy. I don't know how to spin. I just tricked her. I stole a bunch of hand-spun yarn and was like, Sammy, look at all the stuff I made. Okay, So the twist in the yarn knows where to go. What does that mean? And how does it know? How does it know? I didn't take physics. I can't answer that. But what does it mean? It means that, like we said, for the shorter staples of fiber, we need more twist to keep them together. The same goes for thinner yarn. A thinner yarn needs a lot more twist because you have to think about it if,
there's less fibers.
There's less fiber. It's like your hair. Like if you're trying to do pull back your hair, like you're gonna have a much easier time pulling back all of your hair than two strands.
Two strands, right? It's like Planet of the Apes. Stronger together. One ape weak.
So, because thicker sections of fiber need less twist, the twist will automatically go where it's needed. So it will travel up to a thinner area.
Oh, so that's why it's getting...
And see, it's called a drop spindle.
Oh, that's why it's getting like bumpy and chunky in my thinner areas, and it's like real nice in my thicker areas.
Yes.
Oh,
so see, I just dropped my drop spindle, and you say, "Oh no, I broke my yarn." Again, we have one end of our fiber here, and I now have one end of my yarn, aka just some fiber here, and I'm just going to overlap them. I say as it untwists because I did not twist it back enough when I picked it back up. I say as the whole thing comes undone.
Oh, oh no!
It's okay. It's just a little bit of section. See, but this is why it's called a drop spindle, because if you're not focused, the fiber will get away from you. And again, it doesn't matter. So we just start again.
Brianna, instant replay. That was so fast. I know it dropped so fast.
And so that leads me into a good pro tip. Your first time spinning, maybe don't spin on concrete.
Oh.
Or a hard floor. You could sit on, if you're sitting in a chair, make sure, you're scooted all the way back and spin above your lap.
Drops
just to kind of catch it. Mm-hmm. Or you have a pillow around you or something soft. So obviously, please do not go buy a very expensive spindle for your first spindle ever. And be prepared to drop it because it could break. It could break, but the idea is that it can all be put back together. So yeah, if I feed in more yarn, so when I have a chunky bit, and add more twist so that it does not drop once again, you can see again, the twist just naturally goes up, it goes into your new source of fiber, and then it will distribute. Again, there's more twist going to be down here and a little bit less twist in the thicker areas. And if we say, I've gotten to the point where this is too much. So I'm going to give a disclaimer that our current spinning setup for the camera is not best practices in terms of like ergonomics and being nice to your body. You don't want to be constantly you don't want to have your arm straight up, extended all the way out to get fiber, because that will tire out your arm.
I have strong arms.
And so that's why, if you're sitting, you kind of want your fiber source maybe at eye height, and you will let your drop spindle kind of fall to your knees or lower, but you don't want to be reaching out, extending. So if I say, oh, now I've got this long length of yarn, we can wind on. So the shaft of the spindle, which,
it's okay.
It's okay. That's where we're going to wind on. And so that's going to basically be like our temporary yarn storage.
Does it matter if I'm going over my feeder? What is it called again? Leader?
Your leader. You don't have to. If you want to make a nice winding on, you can just kind of go below it. Okay. And then we'll go over it again. And so again, winding my yarn, I am twisting the spindle clockwise to wind it on, but that doesn't matter. I could spin it, I could twist it on counterclockwise. So you're going the opposite way.
Counterclockwise.
That doesn't matter at all. That does not affect the twist. So you see here, the yarn twist is not changing. I am just winding the yarn on the spindle. And then you want to make sure that you have enough to, again, find your notch on your spindle and go through the hook. And then you just keep going. So you add your twist, which you can, again, you can use your knees kind of as a third hand to just hold your spindle still. If you aren't sure how to do the twisting either with your thumb and other fingers or your leg, you can also just kind of slowly twist your spindle like this by hand. It doesn't have to go super fast. And then you just hold it in your knees to give you that extra space, because you always, always, always have to have one hand locking in the twist here. So you're holding the twist back while the other hand works on pulling out more fiber to feed in. So you can see it's like a switching off where I go from letting my left hand go to letting my right hand go. So I've got twist, so I'm pinching with my left hand, pulling out with my right, pinching with my right, letting my left hand go. Coming back up to pinch at the source of the twist, pulling out the fiber, pinching up here, letting go. And so are you going to spin a blanket's worth of yarn on a drop spindle on your first go? No.
Really?
Not on your first go.
Maybe the second one?
Maybe your third.
Okay.
Because third time's a charm.
Right.
And all that.
Third time is the blanket.
But this is like a slower process. And if we think about the history of spinning, is it okay if I get into some spinning history?
No, that's not what the live is about.
We don't believe in history?
No.
Right. We only believe in the here and now.
Right. No, absolutely. Please take us through the history.
Where am I? What's happening? What is this?
What are we?
What's that?
Who are they?
Oh my god, there's people trapped in that box. Let the people out of the box, Sammy. They're stuck in there. Look at them. They're saying words.
Oh my goodness.
Mentally, I'm fine. Everybody's like, wow, Drew is so mentally with it.
What happened to the spinning? Oh my gosh, totally on purpose to show how forgiving spinning it. All part of the plan.
Yes.
Right. Drew did it on purpose.
It really is. And if I hadn't done that, I would have showed it. But the universe took over and said, you're going to make a mistake, and then you'll live with it.
Right, the universe was like, next, show the mistake parts.
So if we think about the history of spinning, and spinning goes back thousands and thousands and thousands of years, because human textiles go back thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, the history of each fiber and each textile tradition is very different depending on the parts of the world. But in general, for most of human history, spinning was done like this, on a drop spindle, until, the Industrial Revolution came along and somebody invented the spinning wheel, which, fun fact, was invented by a person who was inspired by a circular saw. So
really,
yes, I cannot recall my history properly. I don't know if the person who was inspired first to make the first spinning wheel from the circular saw was a man or a woman or in tangent, but they saw a circular saw and they thought, I wonder if that could be applied to making some kind of spinning machine. Because if you think about how many textiles had to be made by hand pre-modern world, right? Pre the coming together of large amounts of people, and then pre all of the terrible history in this country where things bad. Yeah.
Anyway.
We're going back thousands and thousands of years.
To the fun parts.
To the fun parts where women had to spin all day to make clothes. Women traditionally, textile work was done by women thousands and thousands of years ago. Women would have a drop spindle on them basically at all time. They would go in the fields and see what the crops were doing. They'd be taking care of the children and doing all, the household work.
All while drop spinning.
And they would have a drop spindle
because that's so cool.
Because you have to think about how much yarn it takes to make a single garment.
Right.
And obviously back then, fast fashion blessedly did not exist. Why does that happen? I might be spinning the wrong way out of habit. So it took a lot of time to make a single garment, and people would want that garment obviously to last and to be durable, so they would invest a lot of time in the making of it. But again, a lot of labor had to go into the creation of the thread or the yarn. And if we think about ancient textiles, it was closer to being like a thinner yarn or a thread, because that's just what was easier for woven fabrics, like the very tightly woven fabrics, because a lot of early textile history was from woven fabrics. Just because that was just the tradition in lots of different parts of the world. And so it would take a lot of time to make enough thread or yarn to make a garment.
So
you had to be spinning all the time.
Yeah.
And if we think about it, a drop spindle compared to, again, a spinning wheel, a drop spindle is very portable. You can hold it in your hands, you can walk with it, and you can be idly spinning if you're paying attention to the direction that you're going and not dropping your spindle. Like, again, I would never. And I have never in my life. But you can do it as you get better at it. You can do it a little bit more passively. So women would be spinning basically as much as they could. And as soon as the children were old enough to spin, they would be taught how to spin.
You get get the family in on it.
And it was all just done like this. And so they obviously did not look like this.
What did they look like?
So a lot of ancient spindles, if you ever go to a museum, you can keep your eye out, because a lot of times they are mislabeled as, like, they'll just be labeled like women's object or big bead, like, oh, fancy bead.
No, wait, have you seen this? Like mislabeled drop spindles?
Yes. I can share some photos.
Wait, what's the point of a historian?
Well, okay, but if we think about historically, women's work hasn't been the priority.
That is true.
Of archaeological history, of
that is
historical study. A lot of men were like, well, I don't know what this is, so it can't be that important, because I've never seen it.
So we've probably lost a lot of incredible textile tools.
Yes.
Because of that.
Yes. So typically the spindle shaft would be maybe made with wood. And wood, in terms of archaeological... Is archaeology for people stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not paleontology. I'm like, paleontology is dinosaurs.
Don't ask me. I don't know. I don't know the science words. I'm like, you don't physics, I don't science.
So, in terms of things being preserved through history, wood is not a very durable material. It will break down.
Oh, true. So we've probably lost some in the natural way as well.
So there's not a whole lot of evidence of complete spindles, because the wood will break down at some point before we find it. Whereas the whorl of a lot of these ancient spindles would be made of something more durable, possibly bone, ceramic, stone, and you can look up kind of ancient, like, Iron Age spindle whorl or Iron Age spindle, and they look like very small beads, and they were just used to add some weight to basically the stick, because you need some weight. Right. You need something to be pulling the yarn down.
Right, gravity.
You can't just use a light stick and expect things to happen.
So then how do your smaller ones work, and like this Turkish one, because it's there's still a bit of weight.
They're still weighted.
Yeah, there's still weight.
So so like there would just be, there's all of these archaeological records of these. Again, they look like beads, but we know that they're whorls of spindles.
We're taking a field trip now to the museums, and we're gonna y'all like keep an eye out, see if you see anything that might look like a spindle that's called like women tool.
Yeah, well, I actually, let me see. I took some photos a few months ago.
The concentration of Sammy. I was very concentrated. I'm already done. I want some more.
Oh, you need more fiber?
I do.
Then say it.
No. I just... Honey, I was more... We were going. I just ran out. I wasn't like sitting here waiting. I only just ran out.
I've been here for 2 hours.
No. If are planning on plying, this would be making an S twist or a Z twist. So right now I'm spinning S twist.
We'll do a plying demonstration.
Okay. I'm spinning S twist right now, Jen. So if I were to leave this as a single ply, this would be considered S twist. Because I'm going to ply it, I'm spinning S twist and then I'll ply Z twist. So we are specifically spinning to ply in Z twist. Hi, Maddie. You missed a ton. You'll have to watch the replay. Girl, we got an hour and a half in. Hi, Vi. I'm so sorry, Miss Sammy. I need your help. Post the link. Could you tell me the name, please? For the little magazine holder? Oh, you're totally fine. Made by Gootie, Gootie. Look up plant hanger. It's the Suzette stitch. You're totally fine, Vi. Maddie, you will have to catch the replay. It's been on for about 90 minutes. It's okay. Just want to jump by and say hi before bed. Thank you so much, Maddie. What time is it in Iran? It is like close to bedtime, isn't it? I say we because I'm using my drop spindle right now. Are you, Jen? Post a picture on Yarn Over Hook. We'll do a check. Okay.
So this one actually, at least the museum, it was weird because it was the same museum. So they had these pictures of these ancient spindles. Can I hold my phone up to the camera?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. You might want to turn down your... Oh, no, that's perfect.
So that is what very rudimentary spindle whorls look like. So these ones aren't decorated. Some of them have like little carvings or they might be fancier, but they look just like kind of beads. So it makes sense why they would be called beads. And everywhere else in this museum, these were labeled correctly for spinning. And then in one place they said... what did it say? Some spindles for weaving. I'm like, you...
Wait, what's a spindle for weaving?
I'm like, you got it correct in the other places, but in other museums. So this museum, shout out to this museum.
Wait, what? How is there...
Did a good job. But I'm like, who wrote the one description to the next one? But a lot of, if you see those in museums, a lot of times they'll be like unknown women's object or beads, question mark, for women.
Is so insulting. That is so insulting.
You can, if you don't have your own drop spindle at home and you're like, well, I don't know if I would want to invest in one. You can even take a pencil and throw back to not 2026.
Maddie, are you paying attention? Because Maddie is innovative. Like, this is how you can make one.
Most of us don't have CDs lying around.
What is a CD?
What's that?
I just watched a video the other day of people calling a VHS and a cassette tape a CD. They were like, what is that? One of those CDs? And not like a letter C and a D, but like S-E-E-D.
Like a CD?
Like,
cool.
Like CD. Is that a CD? And I was like, cool.
So you can take a pencil and use that as like your spindle stick, and you could make your own whirl out of like polymer clay or like an air dry clay and use that, or again a CD and just kind of slide it on the pencil. There's a lot of videos on how to make a beginner spindle.
I'm sorry, what is the whirl part again?
This is the whirl. The whirl is basically the weight, because you need to kind of have some weight that's not just a straight line around the stick to have it spin and make it basically keep spinning. It's, again, physics. If you have you ever seen that demonstration of like figure skaters when they have their arms in versus when
they have their arms out,
and it's like they go much slower versus much faster. It's the same principle of having some of this weight is what allows it to keep spinning. So I just spun, like I'm not touching it again. It's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. It's slowing to a halt. It'll now go back the other way, but if I grab it. So some spindles will spin slower, some will spin faster, and some will spin shorter, and some will spin longer. Shorter, longer, meaning time-wise. So some, like you might spin them, you give it a spin, and then it might just kind of come to a stop. So
So yours will probably spin a bunch because of how thin it is, right? It's just going to keep going and going and going to try to compensate for that. What you were mentioning earlier, because it's so small, it needs to spin tighter.
Right. But it's also just like the weight, each spindle that you can get. So this spindle is made by a person on Etsy, and I adore their spindles. The top of the spindle is just 3D printed, and the hook, I think, is piano wire.
Oh, what?
I think they're an engineer, and they wanted to make a spindle for their mother, who is a spinner.
That is so fun.
And so they started designing all of these really cool, pretty spindles. And this, I think, was $20 with shipping included. So I can.
Do you mind posting
their shop? Yeah,
on Yarn Over Hook?
I'm pretty sure it's Bull Sheep Fibery, but I will post it to Yarn Over Hook. I don't have any affiliation with them.
This is not sponsored.
They don't know who I am. But you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can also get some wooden drop spindles, so kind of like what Sammy has.
From Alexis. Thank you, Alexis.
And they also make, you can get little ones. So if you are like, oh, well, this seems so big and heavy, and you just want to try something small, and it can get confusing because a lot of spindle makers who are artisans, like woodworkers, or the person who makes these, they will list the weight of the spindle, typically in grams. And you may be wondering, well, what is the importance of that? How do I know what the right spindle is, right? I don't want you to think that it's like picking a crochet hook size, because obviously if you have one size of crochet hook, you could crochet with a bunch of different sizes of yarn and it'll have a different look.
You could.
But you would say, most people would say, well, I want this size hook for this size yarn,
right.
This size. Spindle's not like that. You don't have to say, well, I have to get the right spindle for this type of yarn. You could spin any type of yarn on any type of spindle. The weight is just to tell you how heavy the spindle is, because some people prefer a heavier spindle and some people may prefer a lighter spindle, because you may be like, well, that's really heavy and I don't want to be holding a heavier spindle. I want it to feel good in my hand.
This same motion, like what she was saying, we're not sitting in the best position. You're thinking about a whole bunch of things. Is that like ergonomics? Like whenever we get folks who ask questions like, what is the best hook? And we always say whatever is right for you, whatever feels right for you, whatever you work with best. But you're going to have to try things out to figure out what it is that works best. So what weight works best for you then? What do you like? What do you prefer?
So I am the type of person who can spin, I can spin lace.
I can spin on
any spindle.
I knew it. I knew that's what you're going to say.
Any weight. I don't know how to use a supported spindle. So a supported spindle is a different type of spindle. Let me wind my yarn on to kind of give a little demonstration. I don't know how to use that. I have tried. I can never make it work.
Do you have one?
I didn't bring one because I don't know how to use them.
Oh.
I know in theory how to use them. But a supported spindle is what it sounds like. Instead of dropping it, you're going to be having it supported you'd have maybe a little bowl, a little spinning bowl.
Oh, that's what you were showing, the glass
Yes.
thing?
And then, could I use your hand briefly? Just go like this.
How do I put it down?
Okay. Great question. So if you say, well, I'm spinning, but now I have all this fiber and I want to take a break because I need to drink some water or get a snack, wind on.
All the way?
Wind on all the way. Because the fiber wants to lock together. So you can just let the fiber go and loosely wrap the fiber around.
This fiber too?
Yep. Just loosely wrap it. And it's going to Velcro together. Okay, that's good?
That's good?
Yep.
Okay.
So now look. Let go. See? The fiber is not coming undone.
Okay.
So if you say, well...
It's like my baby.
Yeah, you're like, oh, well, I'm spinning, but I can't put it down. Because obviously if you're crocheting, you can really easily put your project down.
Right.
It's not going to come undone.
Right.
With spinning, you're like, oh,
literally what
I don't want it to unspin. But because the property of the fiber, right, it wants to lock together, which is another thing I should mention, because I did forget, not just staple length for fiber, but also fiber crimp. If you have a very, very straight fiber, so silk. Ooh. If we think about silk, right, what comes to mind? Slippery, right?
Shiny.
Soft. So the fibers of silk, they just want to go slip past each other. So that can be harder to spin. Whereas these fibers, they look pretty straight.
But they aren't.
But
yeah, they're
you
crimped.
can see there's a little bit of crimp. So when you're buying fiber, that is another thing that you may be wondering, because it will say typically the micron count. And you may be saying, what is a micron?
What is a micron? I don't maybe be saying, I be saying, what is
Sammy, what is a micron? Miss for $1, what is a micron?
Wait, can you use it in a sentence?
There's a micron in this fiber.
Okay, there's a micron. Is it a kind of knot?
It is basically the thickness of the fiber. So the lower the number of the micron count, the softer the fiber is meant to be. Basically, it means that the hairs are like teeny tiny.
Yeah.
And they're going to be super soft.
Yeah.
Because they're very small.
Yeah.
And dainty. A higher micron count, so like 30, 35 above, that means that the wool is going to be a little bit more crimpy, like coarse, maybe. It doesn't mean that it'll necessarily be coarse, like itchy. It just means that it's maybe going to be a little bit more like spirally or curly.
Because it's thicker?
It's just the micron count of the fiber. But yes.
Interesting.
And so you can...
Oh, is it basically like the... Is it basically like the biotin buildup? Like how much like it's built up together?
Maybe.
Is that what it maybe is?
Okay. It's just
we'll
about
look it up.
like
Micron.
How thick each individual fiber is. And so if you're thinking about spinning, like for example, this would maybe be more applicable again before the age of everything's being online and everything is easy. You could buy anything at the click of a button. If you're like, I want a really warm, durable winter coat.
Yeah.
So that's not going to be next to your skin. You're going to have layers under it.
Right.
You might go with a higher micron fiber because it's thicker and more durable and you want it to stand up to wear.
Oh, okay.
If you're like, I am making socks, like stockings for my ball attendance because I'm a beautiful Duchess
ball lady
who attends balls.
Who attends balls.
Obviously, we both do.
Yeah, all the
frequently.
time. We're going to one right after
You would
this.
say, well, that's next to my skin and it's on my feet and, you know, maybe my feet are ticklish, so I want a softer fiber, right?
Yeah.
You want to balance always the durability with the softness. So some fibers are what is called next to skin soft. That means you can kind of go like this.
Roman, yes, same.
Yes. Yes, I think we've all seen each other at the balls. So, like, a test, it seems kind of weird because you're like, why are you doing that? Our necks are typically, like, pretty sensitive in terms of being sensitive to, you know, if you're put on an itchy sweater or
it's
a shirt
like
and you're like,
immediately here. Yeah.
You can, as people do, take the fiber and just kind of go, oh. And if it feels okay, that might be next to skin.
Are these the same?
Yes. It's just kind of like, yes. It's just gentle.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. You'll know. You'll know. Let me see.
I'm warm.
Yes. It's our harsh California winter.
I have warmed up.
Our harsh California winter.
Hi, Weston. How are you?
Our hand knits. This is a different type of fiber. This is Corriedale, which is a type of sheep. And you can kind of see, how it's a little bit more fuzzy, right, around the edges.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
just feel this one. See if you can feel the difference.
I can feel it already.
Uh-huh.
And it's more crimped. It's not as straight.
Yes.
And it looks a bit thicker.
Every breed of sheep will have a different type of fiber. The most popular and common type of fiber that is sold commercially, any guess?
Say again?
The most popular and available type of fiber from a sheep that is sold commercially.
Is it merino?
Yes. So merino is a breed of sheep. So merino wool comes from merino sheep. Why is merino wool so popular?
Why is merino wool so popular?
Because it's soft and it's warm.
It's nice.
And it's durable. So merino wool is something that you would consider next to skin soft.
So what kind of wool is this one again?
This is Corriedale.
And Corriedale.
Yes.
And then
this is merino.
Okay, it feels like merino.
Yeah.
It does feel like merino.
So every different breed of sheep, and there are some really cute ones. I'm gonna say this wrong. if you want to just die over how cute a sheep is, you can look up the black nose valet.
Valet?
Yes, Valais. They look like they shouldn't exist.
Oh.
They look like cartoon sheep, and I need to meet one.
Oh.
So.
Oh yeah, they're on your nails. What's on your nails?
Oh yeah.
Did you do that intentionally or unconsciously?
You know, I looked up on I googled like sheep nail designs, and I picked the one that I felt I could most easily replicate.
Y'all, like, it is literally that cartoon sheep. Like, it is the cartoon sheep.
They're
like
so
black
cute.
face, white fur, like the cartoon sheep.
So,
oh yeah, that's the sheep I based my onigiri on.
Oh my god, Alexis made the cutest little sheep in a pasture for the Spinning Guild's potluck last month, and it was the cutest thing I think I've ever seen. And so there are, again, hundreds of breeds of sheep, and they all have their own wool that they make. So they're all very different, and so something that can be fun is to experiment. Okay, I'll give that back to you, but may I have your hand?
Oh yeah,
for a second.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pretend that Sammy is my spinning bowl. So I would have my support spindle. It wouldn't look like this. It would most probably look more like this, where the weight is at the bottom.
And the hook is at the top?
There isn't a hook for support spinning.
Oh, okay.
And so I would be like spinning it. You're constantly holding it with one hand, and then the fiber is just coming out like that. And you're just kind of tensioning it.
And you're constantly spinning.
Yes.
Because you can't just... It's going to like do all of this.
It's supported in the sense that it's always going to be staying in the little bowl. Yeah. You're not picking it up. You might pick it up to wind the yarn on. So that's a different style of spinning. Some people find that more intuitive, easier. I, again, for the life of me, have not been able to figure it out.
Wait, how do you get the... Wait. So if it's like this, and there's no hook, where is it holding on to? You are like
spinning the fiber off, just kind of... You're twisting it, and the fiber's coming off at an angle.
Wow. I feel like you can't, there's not as much control there. You'd have to really be focusing on how it's twisting onto that sounds complicated.
There's a incredible spinner that I follow. She has both an Instagram and a YouTube channel. On Instagram, I think she is the tipsy spinster, but on YouTube or on Instagram, you can just look up sip and then N spin. So sip and spin. Yes, that's her. She does incredible support spindling, and she has the most beautiful spindles. And there are a few people that I follow in terms of like spinning and fiber arts, and I'm like, I just want to be that person one day. She is one of them.
Oh. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna get her profile to share with y'all. Wow, that's incredible.
So that is a different type of spinning, and I guess possibly it could also be very easy to make a support spindle in terms of just kind of finding like the right shape of thing.
Yeah, like, the right weight, and then like something that'll hold it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Is this somebody that you know? Because they're answering all the questions. Altered?
No. I think so.
They're answering all the spinning questions.
Corey Deal is great, and it's also great for felting. So like the crimpier fibers are really great for needle felting or wet felting, because the fibers are really wanting to lock together. So, but if you think about it, any fiber will lock together, which it just depends on the ease of it. So I always like to talk about like hair, human hair, and all the different textures, and that, you know, it's not like somebody with stick straight hair would never get a knot in their hair. Like their hair will still sometimes tangle because it's just the nature of the hairs. It just might be easier for them to not have their hair tangled. I'm a person I don't know what my hair is doing at any time, ever. It's confusing. It's frizzy. Its own thing. It's wavy. So I'll sometimes just like have it down, and then I'll go to brush it and I'll be tangled. And I'm like, how did that happen?
I just brushed you.
And it's the same thing with fibers. So like some fibers, you could do a lot to them and they'll still be like, wee, we want to come apart. And then other fibers, you'll be like.
And it's like fighting you. Yeah.
And so, but that reminds me of another demonstration that I like to do. So this is our big chunk of fiber. And as you saw, like if I just kind of go like that, I can pull from it easily. But because this is a big chunk, if I just give it a slight twist, it's now locked together.
Yeah.
So this is a demonstration of what spinning does. The twist locks those fibers together, and for a big amount of wool, it really doesn't take, like that's, if I go back, that's like one turn.
2, 3. Right.
And then it locks together.
That's incredible. That is so cool. Samantha says my daughter has polymer clay. I'm going to make one. You're going to make one. Nice.
So there's a bunch of tutorials that you can find. I've seen people make really cool ones. And the thing is that again, the weight doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical or perfectly round. You're just kind of experimenting. It's not going to ruin the yarn that you're spinning.
Have you ever tried
Yes. Okay. I have tried a Tockley. So a Tockley is for spinning cotton. Traditionally, cotton spinning has a very different history to wool and other animal fiber spinning. It goes back very far in India. So India is basically the source of the most famous methods of cotton spinning. So a Tockley is basically a very thin, small drop spindle / support spindle. So it's very small and it's meant to spin very fast.
Oh, wow, yeah.
India also has what are called charkas, which is CHARKHA, which is their version of a spinning wheel, except you're using your hand. Your feet are not involved. You are spinning with one hand the charka, and there's some really, really, really cool ones. There are book charkas and like briefcase charkas that like fold up.
Whoa, these look cool.
Because again, if we think about historically,
I've seen that. And it's like this.
Yes.
You probably have seen them in like movies, especially Bollywood. You probably have seen them. I've absolutely seen them in like so many Bollywood music videos. And like, it's like they're holding the fiber here and spinning this way.
Magic.
It looks so cool.
And there's some, again, really cool ones. I would love to own a book charka one day, not because I think I could use it, but I just think that they're really cool. But again, if you think about it, these were really compact methods of spinning that every family would basically have so that they could be spinning their own cotton. And so a Tockley is just the spindle version of a cotton spinner. So they are typically very thin. They're made of metal. Both the stick part of the spindle and the whirl will be made of a metal. They'll be maybe like this big. The whirl will be small because they're meant to spin really fast.
As soon as you look it up, friends, there are folks who made it from a coin, like from the coins.
Yes. Oh, they're so beautiful.
They're so fun looking. Like, look at that. That's crazy.
Yes. There's, oh my God, John Galen makes the most beautiful, like, they're pieces of art, spindles. And he makes some really gorgeous Tockleys. He'll make them out of like watch faces.
Wow.
Yeah. And they are so cool.
That is so cool.
A Tockley is, it's similar. You're going to be using the similar skills, but because cotton, again,
that's short.
Is so short. You have to be spinning so fast and adding so much twist, or it'll just fall apart.
Just keep coming out.
It's a different skill set, right? Because you really have to be focused on spinning fast, and you're just kind of constantly feeding in the fiber, and you're pulling it out, and you're probably doing long draw, which we have not been doing. Long draw is where you basically have the fiber, and you're just kind of constantly just pulling it, and it's adding twist, and then you're evening it out. There's a whole lot of things.
That sounds like a lot. Oh my gosh. Hi, Panda's Big Crochet.
Yes.
How are you?
Yes, cotton terrifies me too. I have spun cotton on my electric eel wheel. You just have to be very, very mindful. It's not the kind of thing that you can do and not pay attention because, again, the fibers are so short. I have to be constantly. There are other people, of course, who are very experienced, who it's very intuitive. But if you're new to spinning, you do not want to start by spinning cotton because you have to keep your eyes on it so much.
That is so wild. That is so wild. Because Corridel is a medium wool. It's great fiber for outerwear like coats, pullovers, and skirts. Stacy, I have to go, but this has been great. I will catch the rest later.
Bye, Stacy. Thank you so much. Joining.
There is another lady I follow. Her name is Evie.
Yes.
She's brilliant. Oh, you follow her
I
as well?
love Jillian Eve. Her YouTube channel is Jillian Eve, Jillian with a J. She is who I've learned so many different things about spinning from. And her channel is so incredible. She's another person that I'm like, I want to be like her one day.
I'm going to be watching Sony spinning videos for the rest of the day. Oh no, Altered is just a passionate spinner. Hi, Altered. And thank you so much for answering so many questions in the chat. That's been really awesome. Thank you. Jenny, there is a shearing couple on YouTube that I love to follow too. They shear sheep, llama, and alpaca. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Melissa. I saw a comment earlier. Hi, Melissa. If I missed you, friends, hi, I'm so sorry. I've been so locked in. How do you all watch replays? So this just saves. As soon as the live ends, because you can even rewind now, as soon as the live ends, it saves. So you can just start the live over and watch from the beginning.
Where on the channel can they find that though, if they're not sure?
In the live section.
Okay, so it's not under the typical video section. Not
under the video section, it's under the live section. And you can find it under our show section as well. This is in our live show playlist. Hi, Callie. How have you been? Hi, Aline. Drew, how is TDF going? Oh, do you want to talk about tour?
I will. Yes. I just wanted to also make sure. I was like, let me spin a little bit more so we can do a Plying demo.
Yeah.
So TDF, you probably are like, what is TDF? Which I was like, what is TDF when I first joined the guild? So, probably some of you have heard of the Tour de France. I grew up knowing about it because my dad is a cyclist, like a crazy cyclist. Like
He's in France right now.
He's in France right now. I grew up here in LA. I went to UC Santa Barbara for my undergrad, and one day I joked to him, you should come ride to see me. Friends, if that's 120 miles, I was 120 miles, like my school was 120 miles away from LA. He did. I was joking. He did it.
What?
And now he does it every year with his cycling club. I need to take a water break.
Oh yeah, you're fine. Oh, I think we missed one. Cheers. Cheers, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.
Unclaw your hands on shrimp your pastas.
Yeah, so when you're spinning, you're going to be doing a lot of your pinching and pulling. So you do want to take breaks because your hands can get sore really quickly.
Unclaw your hands.
So a good tip is if you have a spinning wheel, if you don't have a spinning wheel, this won't make sense. But the tip is like every time you move your fiber, you want to kind of just rest your hands for a little bit. So a good tip could be after a few times of winding on your yarn, just putting your drop spindle down, like stretching. You want to stretch your fingers out. You can maybe wiggle them because again, we're doing a lot of like little crab fingers. So we want to do the opposite. I like to do this one a lot where I'm just kind of stretching my hands.
I should probably
but
stretch.
I am
lead by example. Hold on.
This is me preaching and not practicing. So it is important because I don't know. I personally would never be crafting for 3 hours straight and then get up to get some water and then be like, oh,
no, sleep, never.
I've heard other people do that. I would not ever, obviously, but
That's sacrilege.
You sometimes do catch yourself and you want to give yourself a little break. But so TDF.
How crazy is your dad? That's awesome that your father is
Dad,
out
why
there
are you
for the
still
races.
awake? What time is it there? Let me check. I put the time zone on my phone.
Also, you can see another thing is you have.
Oh my god, it's 11 p.m. And this man has to get up to
supporting you.
I know, but he's gonna get up and go on a ride tomorrow.
Please don't fall asleep. So other fibers that you can find easily are bamboo. Oh, how is spinning bamboo?
So
and
bamboo
rayon?
is slippery. So bamboo is much like silk. It is very, very slippery. If you come back, I have some bamboo. I can bring it.
I would love that.
I would not recommend bamboo as your first fiber unless you have an allergy. If you have an animal fiber allergy, disregard. Find a fiber that works for you. If you do not have an allergy to any animal fibers, a wool is going to be a very safe bet to start.
You can also try your hand at alpaca, just a different learning curve. Another thing is you have a bunch of novelty fibers nowadays. So pearl, milk, rose.
Yes.
Linen is great too, but finding pure linen to spin is a challenge. Wow.
Yeah, so linen has to be spun completely differently because this is going to sound crazy. Your hands need to be wet while you are spinning linen because it helps the fibers as you are linen. For those of you who do not know, because I did not know this, I think I kind of tangentially knew it, but I didn't put it together until I started spinning.
Yeah.
Flax plants are like huge. They can be over a foot in length, and the linen fiber is harvested from the flax, like the whole flax plant. You break it down, you like leave it in the sun to like dry, and then you like smack it and you like put it through this tool that looks like it's just a bunch of nails. And you're like this, and you're like pulling it through, and that's how you break down the fibers.
I know flax is very durable.
So,
I didn't realize you gotta beat it into submission.
It's a whole process. There is a person on Instagram, her name is, I think, Evo Schaub, who is growing her own dress from start to finish. So she is growing, she's growing flax, processing it. But there are videos, I think Jillian Eve did a video about growing flax. I know Engineering Knits, she did a video where she grew and spun and I think wove with her own flax. So it's a very long process, but flax fibers, that staple length can be a foot or more. So that is a very different process. And actually what's interesting is because of the way that the plants grow with their own internal structure, you want to spin flax differently than you would spin wool because it already has its own twist internally. So I think you want to actually spin flax the way that you would spin for crochet.
I'm gonna look that up. Yeah. We're gonna be spinning flax, y'all.
So there are so many different types of fiber. I would say like you can't go wrong with the merino. I never know how to say it. Cheviot, I think is a pretty good one. You can just look up like good fibers and do not get fooled by people who are selling like beginner kits with, where it's super expensive.
I saw beginner kits on Amazon and I was like, I don't know about that.
I would stay away from the beginner kits on Amazon. You can go, I know Etsy kind of has had its own problems lately in terms of like the AI issue and all of that. And so I'm not like, that's totally fine. I don't care, but for some creators, that's still like the only place that they sell. Right. You can find very inexpensive starter drop spindles. And then if you search, there are a bunch of websites that just sell wool in like 4-ounce packs, or you can even get 1 ounce, and you can get different colors and different types. And it's not expensive. Like typically if they're undyed, if they're dyed, it's always going to be a higher price because the dyeing process is kind of intense. Obviously, if it's like a commercial dyeing, it's a little bit cheaper, but hand dyed will be more expensive. But you can get some, there are some breeds of wool that you can get like 4 ounces for like $2 or $3 or, $4 maybe. And you can kind of play around because some might feel better for one person who's learning, another might feel better to someone else, and I'll provide you like with a bunch of different sources.
That would be really, really awesome. We can we'll start a forum on Yarn Over Hook, especially like from today's live stream, and then you can just add to it like as you go, like the resources that you've mentioned and stuff like that. And folks who spin, if you are on Yarn Over Hook, you can add to that as well. We'll just create a new little like post and add to like the spinning education. Thank you so much, Trish. Have a good sleep. If you aren't on Yarn Over Hook, it is a free social media for crocheters to create, learn, and connect with other crocheters. There are free resources. We have fun live streams like this. And it's just a really great place to connect with other fiber artists. You can join for free, no tiers, no paywall at yarnoverhook.com. Alexis says, can you talk about spinning flax and Rumpelstiltskin?
Yes. Okay, I forgot though to get back to explaining TDF.
Oh, yes,
so I will explain that. So if you don't know, again, the whole point was me calling my dad crazy. Sorry, Dad. You know it.
He said that he's about to do another Century ride or something. Where was that? Oh, yeah, the next Santa Barbara Century is August 8th.
So now his cycling club, like, just rides Santa Barbara, like,
Santa
once
Barbara?
a year
From here?
Yes. Well, they start in Van Nuys at like the train. Like they'll take the train station back, so they'll like all meet up together close to there, and and then they don't ride back, so they'll ride there, and then they'll take the train back.
Still wild.
I know.
You're so cool, Mr. Drew.
So he doesn't do it competitively. You know, he likes to make that disclaimer. He likes to do it for fun. So he's not like racing people, but still, I'm like, oh yes, for fun. Anyway, the Tour de France. The Tour de France is a big cycling event that happens weirdly in France. Who would know?
Who knew?
Where again, other men that think riding crazy rides is fun, and then they compete with each other. And now, a few years ago, they were like, we should let women do it too.
Oh,
so they have a separate one for women.
Alexis brought that up, and I was like,
yeah,
because men and women can ride together.
No,
but anyway,
so somebody, I think it actually started on Ravelry. I think it is a Ravelry event, so I don't want to get pitchforks for not saying that. But at some point, somebody was like, how fun would it be to have a spinning event while the cyclists are riding?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Tour de Fleece starts the day that the Tour de France starts. So this year, the tour started on July 4th. So Tour de Fleece started on July 4th. The idea is that you spin every day that the cyclists are riding.
Mm-hmm.
The people who run the Tour de France are nice. They let the cyclists have a few rest days in between.
Oh,
they're like,
so
you get to have a day off. So you can also take the day off from spinning on when they have a rest day. You could spin if you wanted to. And there are challenge days, so days in the tour where the cyclists are doing something harder. So like a mountain stage where maybe there's a lot of climbing, or they do time trials where they're like all racing together. And so on those days, you're supposed to challenge yourself. So maybe you try a new fiber, or you try a new method of plying, or, you know, whatever it is that you want to try. And it's not competitive. So this is not a competition. There is it's not like who spins the most yarn or who spins the best yarn. It's just you can join a team, and the spinning guild that I'm in has a team, and I'm co-captaining it with Stacy, who I think had to leave, but it's basically you challenge yourself to spin a little bit, maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes each day.
Are they cycling today? So are we spinning with the cycling?
Monday is a rest day. Is it Monday? But it's
Sunday there.
It's Sunday there still. Yeah. So
no. Is it Sunday in France? No, it's late. It's late on Saturday in France.
Oh, right. I was like, what day is it?
So they cycle today, right?
Probably.
There we go.
So it's very fun, and it's like you don't pay to do it. You can join like a bunch of dyers or spinning creators will like have a team that you can join. And if you're like, oh, but I've never spun and I'm not going to be able to spin yarn every day, you don't have to. Again, it's not a competition. Nobody's going to get mad at you. It's just a really fun thing. So
I'm sorry, what is it that... First, can I have some more, please? I'm just like, I'm eating it up. Because I'm spinning so
well, that's
thick.
good, because I want us to be able to do a plying demonstration.
Oh, right. So this,
Mm-hmm.
so do it. Do like I'm not watching. Keep going. Like, do what you do. That. What is that you're doing?
What?
Like, I've been spinning. Like I
Like
take
this?
it and then, like you're like, there was a word for it.
Drafting?
Drafting.
Yes. So there is what is called the drafting triangle, and it is not the Bermuda Triangle.
Different triangle.
Although sometimes I guess it can feel like that, because sometimes in crafting you're just like, I don't understand. So this is our drafting triangle in the sense that like the fiber is kind of coming to a point. And so you're just kind of always pinching with one hand there and then pulling with your other hand. You just let the twist move up. And so the idea is like once you get more comfortable with it, you don't have to park your spindle between your knees and you just keep going. And so I'm paying attention to what's in my hand, but I'm also paying attention to what the spindle is doing. So as soon as it stops spinning and starts to spin back, I'm going to grab it and keep going. And I think...
And then, sorry for ears, friends. Sorry.
But it's okay. Again, so you just want to untwist. And then it kind of sometimes gets like wrapped in the hook and you just kind of tease it apart and you pull it out and it doesn't matter at all.
It matters. Throw it away.
Burn it.
Burn it. It's not useful anymore.
Oh yeah, so my dad says a week from today is the Queen stage, which is the hardest stage of the tour. So that would be maybe a day, a challenge day for Tour de Fleece.
What do you plan on doing for that day?
Oh, that's a good question. I've been spinning every day. And so I assume there was already probably a rest day because it's already been a week and a half. No, what day is it? 2 weeks. Oh, wow. It's already been 2 weeks of TDF. So I didn't take a rest day. And I don't think I really challenged myself to do anything. Well, I guess I did. I challenged myself to spin this yarn for crochet. Where is
that one? The one that you made for me?
Yes, no.
I'm telling y'all, I feel like she brought her whole room here, and it made me so happy.
That's the worst part. It's like, this is nothing. So this was actually a skein that I spun during TDF. I started it. I brought it to the Beach Day Takeover that was hosted by Alexis, which was so fun.
So fun.
And then I plied this. So this was, I guess, a bit of a challenge. I challenged myself to do an art thread. So an art yarn is basically a yarn that the finished yarn is like art itself. So it might be extra textured. There are special ways that you can ply yarn with like a commercial yarn, like add in some sparkle. Yes, Alexis says I spun at the beach, which was a challenge. Yes, even being at the beach for me is a challenge because I went to school by the beach and I went to the beach twice. I'm just not
a big
person. Beach. When you're born and raised in LA, you're like, our beaches aren't pretty. Which I understand is very privileged if you don't live by the beach. And, if you're traveling somewhere, you're like, wow, the beach. But, like, our beaches are cold and murky. Like, I want to be able to see my feet. If my feet are in this much water, I'd like to see my feet still. So, yeah, spinning at the beach was a challenge. Oh, thank you, Samantha. So this is actually a bat that a fiber friend made. She called it Purple People Eater.
That's cute.
And I can undo the skein. And I know you guys are all going to be like, that's so thin. And yes, it is thin. I do admit that.
She spins thin.
You can see that it has texture. So it has like these little bumps, which are like silk or different fibers. And so you can really do so many things. Oh, I actually brought this. This I actually plied the other day. This was a bobbin from my EEW Nano, which was, I think, the first thing I tried to spin on it. So I plied it the other day.
That was your first spun yarn on the EEW?
Mm-hmm, on the Nano.
Aww.
So you can see that, like, when you ply your yarn, plying is so forgiving. It really helps balance everything out. And then it just, like, it's really easy to, like, make a yarn that you are kind of amazed by, where you're like, wow, that looks maybe a lot better than I was expecting it to. Because when you add the plies, like, it helps even out. It can help if you're spinning, like, a thick and thin yarn for your first yarn. Plying it can kind of help even out the weight of the yarn a little bit, make it look a little bit more uniform, and then it also gives more durability. So this could be a good chance to briefly talk about, like, why would you ply a yarn? Because you can just spin a single and do a project with a single. You can knit with singles, crochet with singles, weave with singles, sew with singles, etc., etc. And there are commercial yarns that are sold as a single, but plying gives it more durability. So the more plies that you have is basically like adding in an extra lock to a door. So if one lock breaks, you're like, well, I still have two other locks. So the door is still locked, even if one lock breaks.
No one's getting in.
No one's getting in. So the extra plies just adds that extra durability because everything gets worn down. Like when you wear a sweater and you're like, oh, it's starting to pill, or, like, oh, there's a hole in the elbow. Like, the extra ply is just like an extra layer of protection. So you certainly do not have to ply. There is no rule saying you have to ply your yarn. That being said, you do have to be intentional if you are making a single about what you're using it for, because then you might want to make sure it has enough twist without having another ply, or, you know, making sure that it's a good thickness for what you want to use it for in terms of the project. But there really is no hard and fast rule. And the fun thing is that there are so many ways to ply, and we're going to talk about one of them. But it's basically, you could do, you can just really surprise yourself. You can take a single. I've taken a single before and been like, oh my God, this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
Oh no.
Yes.
Why?
Because
was it just uneven?
No, it's just like sometimes you just do that and then you ply it and then you're like, I guess.
It just didn't come out.
And then
like you don't like
get
it
to the
single
finished, and you get to the finished yarn like this. I finished spinning my combo spin, which again, intentionally, it's supposed to have a lot of colors. When something is in a skein, right, and all the colors like are all twisted together, it can feel
so
very overwhelming, because you're like, that is so many colors all at once. But when you're working with a project, right, with the yarn, and you're like, oh, the colors are now not all together all at once. They're a little bit more spread out. Like, I'm working with it. You know, if you're crocheting like in the round and you're like, oh, a color transition. How nice.
Yeah.
As opposed to all the colors like this, where you're like, oh, so many colors. So a lot of times I will ask you to find space in your heart and say, I'm going to reserve my judgment for this yarn until like I actually see what it looks like worked up, because I might be surprised. It might surprise me.
Yeah.
And then you finish it and you go, oh my God, it's so good.
No,
it's
that's
so much
actually
better.
really awesome to keep in mind. That's really, really cool. Michael, how are you? Hi, sweethearts. Hi, all. Been lurking and just now got a minute to show some love. Thank you so much, Michael. And it's more twist to strengthen the yarn. Mm-hmm.
The higher the twist, the tighter the yarn. So the question that you may say, which I kind of talked about this a little bit at the start, but I will go over it because it is definitely something helpful to remember. How do you know how much twist is too much twist? So I've got this is already twisted, and I'm going to just twist, and I'm going to keep twisting, and you can't probably see, but the spindle is moving up. The yarn is coiling in on itself, right, making it shorter. And when it's in front of your eyes, it is very, very noticeable, and you can also feel it. So I always like to encourage people when they're spinning to do this, right? You're going to feel the resistance of the yarn, and if it's really pulling in on itself and fighting you to pull back, it's probably a little bit too much twist. So again, does that mean I need to spin my spindle the other direction? No, that just means I need to feed in a little bit more fiber.
That it's basically spreads
out. And then the
out.
twist starts crawling up to even out. And now immediately you can see when I let it pull on itself.
Oh, that's a lot
it's still
more
pulling,
gentle though.
But it's doing what we call pigtails, which is basically the first part of the plying process. So pigtails does not mean that you have too much twist. It just means that your yarn is very energized and it wants to pull in, because again, for physics, whatever
whatever that physics is,
the yarn the twist wants to even out, and plying helps even out that twist. So the yarn just has this natural springy inclination to come back to itself. It's kind of like, I don't know if any of you as kids, or if you ever saw, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the metal, but the metal that you could heat it and have it be straight, and then you could bend it and make it all twisty, and then if you heated it, it would move back into its original shape.
Oh, I don't know.
And I think it's Nick something.
Does anybody know what she's referring to? Michael, drop spinning is a great way to use up scrap yarns.
It can be a great way to use up.
Oh, do you
yarn
use
scraps.
That board? I think I've seen people take scraps and then do the board.
It's an involved process.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest way to get fiber, but you can.
It is an option.
But basically, you have to think of the fiber as having some elasticity. like the fiber, the original fiber. And so you're just kind of playing with the natural springiness and elasticity of the fiber. So again, some fibers like silk. Silk is very, very straight. And it doesn't, it's not kind of tensile like this is. But most like animal fibers will kind of have that springiness. And you can blend basically any fiber together. The only thing that you kind of have to be mindful of is the method that you're blending them. So you typically want to, like on my blending board, if I have a fiber, so I actually blended this fiber for Sammy, and I took a video of it in case anybody was curious. In this yarn, there is wool, there is silk, there is mohair, and there is cotton. So 4 very different types of fiber.
So cool. Thank you so
Obviously,
much.
the wool and the mohair are the most alike because they're both animal fibers.
Mm-hmm.
But then the bridge between the silk and the cotton and the wool or animal fibers, those are very vast bridges. So you just have to blend them intentionally. You're kind of always sandwiching the shorter fibers, the silk, the cotton, in between layers of the wool, the mohair.
The longer
Because if you put them on the top or the bottom, they're just going to kind of fly out.
So there you go, Brianna. Brianna said, I'm realizing I won't be able to spin my cotton confetti scraps. So if you blend those with longer...
Yes.
What is it called? What's it called again?
Roving. Staple.
The staple.
You knew that. You were testing me.
Yeah, I was just making sure that you understood. If you blend it with another fiber that has a longer staple,
Mm-hmm.
longer staple?
Yes.
Okay. Longer staple, Brianna, then you should be good.
Yes, knit and all, memory wire. Yes, somebody knew what I was referring to.
Oh, of course, Max. Absolutely. Max, have you do you play with that? Okay, I think I'm ready to apply.
Okay, so for plying, if we think about what would happen normally if you are spinning on a drop spindle to get a certain amount of yarn, you might want to not wind it all off your drop spindle. So some people will have, weirdly, more than one drop spindle.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of like multiply. So you know how like you buy like one pretty crochet hook,
Yeah.
and then you close your eyes, and then there's like 3 more at your door.
How does that happen?
That's
never happened to me before.
So when 2 crochet hooks really love each other, they get to know each other. And one crochet hook says to the other crochet hook, "Hey, do you want to hook up?"
That was nice. That was okay. That was a 10 out of 10.
Thank
That
you.
was good.
I just
that
pulled
was
that
good.
So if you have more than one drop spindle, you can basically make for some reason, a lot of tools in the world are named after women, and then the word lazy is put in front of them. So if you guys know what a lazy Susan is, which I honestly haven't seen one, I think, since I was a child, but it was like a round thing you'd have on your table, and it would spin.
And it spins.
So that way, instead of having to extend your arm and pass a bowl to somebody on the other side, you just spin the lazy Susan. Because Susan is so lazy, obviously.
Obviously.
So there's, in spinning, a lazy Kate. So it's like, why are all these women?
Why are all of these
It's
women?
because men.
Come on now.
A lazy Kate is basically just you either have your bobbins with your spinning on them or your spindles, and they just kind of like unwind. So you can make them out of a shoebox. So if you have a full spindle of yarn, and this is another question, how do I know when my spindle is full? You're gonna know. You don't, it doesn't make sense when somebody tells you you'll know until you know, but the weight, you're gonna feel,
not gonna be able to spin.
Oh, it's getting too heavy. It's too hard for me to manage the yarn up here, or it's pulling too much.
Mm-hmm.
So some people can make really, really beautiful, like they're called cobs. I don't know if it's a P. It might be a cob. That would make more sense. Basically, you wind it on. Please do not feel compelled to wind your spindle on super pretty unless you're taking a photo and you want it to look super
It
pretty.
needs to be Instagram ready.
And so you'll see people with basically like a ton of yarn on their spindles, and you might say, well, how do I get to that? don't push yourself, because depending on like the thickness of the yarn that you're spinning, the type of fiber that you're spinning, your stopping point may be earlier or later.
Okay.
And you're going to start to feel it. You're going to start to feel like, okay, I think I'm going to have to stop soon. And then you're going to kind of reach a point where you say, I just have to stop.
Okay, I've reached the point now. I have to stop. And now I need to ply.
I'm going to show you guys my favorite hack for plying. I actually have a video of this that I made on my Instagram for a different spinning event. So there's like a little video tutorial, but I will go into it with you all today.
Let me send your Instagram real quick while I'm thinking about it.
Let me find my magical... There's my magical plenty jar. How do I lose things?
Those Insta pics of people with 5 spindles, all with perfectly wound cops, give me such envy. I have an army of spindles. Hi, Mars. Hi, Nancy.
So, this is my favorite plying tool. It is a Talenti jar. So basically, this is me telling you that you need to go buy ice cream for craft purposes.
It is hot.
Obviously, this is also not sponsored by Talenti. I wish. I love them because they have some of their flavors are gluten-free. The funny thing is that this is an old jar that I had. I have celiac disease, so now I can't eat wheat because my body said no. But this flavor was my favorite flavor before. I can't have it now, but I still have the jar. But a lot of their gelato and ice cream flavors like are gluten-free and they're labeled and they're so good. And then you get a jar for your crafts. So I keep actually, let go. My tiny Turkish spindles, I love to keep them in Talenti jars.
Cute.
With their fiber. So you just kind of nest them in. But what we're going to do is we're going to pull the fiber and the spindle out so that you can all see. Obviously, you do not need a Talenti jar to do this. Any jar or object that is kind of a uniform width and bigger than the width of your hand, and ideally has a lid that you can hold on to, but you don't have to. You can also tape or just hold your fingers. If you're winding off a lot of yarn, you're going to want the lid just to kind of lock in the end so that you don't lose it. But for a small amount of yarn, it's not a problem.
Thank you, Alexis.
You can look up bracelet ply. There are videos on how to do it with your hand. I have never been able to figure it out. And also, if you do it too tightly,
I was about to say,
you cut off your circulation.
Yeah.
So there are people who are really good at it. If you're like, I'd rather just use my hand, or that video makes sense, you go for that. But I like using a jar because then it also makes it really easy if you need to take a break while plying. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the end. So this is the end of the yarn, and you can see that there's still fiber, like unspun fiber. That's because it's the end. The end and start of your yarn are always going to look like this. We will lock it in.
Oh, that's so smart.
Okay.
Innovation, women in STEM.
And now I'm going to ask you to be the fiber source. So just hold the spindle, kind of like that.
Oh, okay.
So that we can unwind it. And now we are just winding it around and around.
That's my yarn, y'all. I spun that. Can confirm Talenti jars are always the best storage option. I love it, Brianna.
They are. They're so easy to clean. And then, like, the fact that they're clear means you can see what you put inside. So now you can see we have our leader still connected to the start of our fiber. And when we're plying, we need to come back to use the leader. So we're going to separate this. So the nice thing about the leader being a slip knot is that we can open it up, kind of stick our fingers. And if you are like, I don't really want to futz with it, you can just cut this and it's no big deal. Or you can kind of gently untwist.
Did I do something?
No, you did it. You got it really nice and started well. So.
Free.
Okay. So now we are going to switch roles. I'm going to be your fiber source. You're going to pull your spindle. So now we have the other end of our yarn. This is our starting end. And if we didn't want to ply right now, what I do is holding my thumb over, our other end that we already have in the jar. and you can
And you
just
just
slip
lock it in
the
there.
end like that.
So you do need multiple jars of ice cream available so that you can do this.
So now, if you're like, I don't want to ply right now, I just spun so much time spinning and I don't want to ply right now, you can just kind of have it like this. The benefit of this is one of those things that there's like, I feel like debatable tips and tricks for every craft.
Mm-hmm.
One of them for spinning is that you want to let your singles rest. Why do you want to do that? Because right after spinning the yarn is when it's the most energized, right? That twist is really like, oh my God, we just got into this yarn. This is so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
If you leave it to rest for 24 hours,
okay,
the twist goes, oh, we're calm now. Everything's calm. We're in this
I like
yarn.
this. I like this position.
I like this. I'm not threatened.
Right. So we're going to zoom forward 24 hours.
We're going to pet. But here's the thing. Again, if we're thinking about historical spinning, were people
waiting the whole day?
Waiting. No, they had things to do.
Right.
They had yarn to spin.
They had things to make.
So does it change your yarn meaningfully? No. The only benefit is that if you have a lot of yarn that you just spun, even waiting a few hours just makes it a little bit easier to ply. Like, it'll make it a little bit less like twisty and pigtaily, and you'll just kind of feel like, okay, I'm rested, the fiber is rested,
Mm-hmm.
we're on the same page. But you also, again, don't have to wait.
So we're gonna ply this by itself?
We are doing a bracelet ply.
Okay.
So we are going to ply this fiber back on itself.
Okay, so this is actually a great opportunity to take a little break. So friends, if you would like to use the latrine, fill up your water. Take a look at Drew's Instagram page.
Check your linen crops.
Your linen crops, your flax crops.
Make sure that they're thriving.
We will be back in just a stitch to apply what we spun. Check your notes. Go over your notes. Look up some stuff that Drew was mentioning. Post on Yarn Over Hook. All of this thing. All of the break is sponsored by Sheep. Bye. All right. We'll be back in just a second. all so much for waiting. I hope that you grabbed some water, stretched your legs, stretched your hands for those who are spinning.
Mhm.
I did want to actually
Pet a sheep.
pet a sheep.
Yeah.
Look, Jen.
Oh my god. Oh, that is gorgeous fiber.
Is actually clicking this time. I even broke out the fancy roving for this. My
Yay!
thickness is slowly improving. Thanks, Drew, for the clear instructions. Oh, there we go. Fun.
Yeah, and if anybody has, if you're like, oh, I want to try this, but later, like I'll reference the live later. Any questions or anything that I said didn't make sense, like of course you can feel free to contact me. I'm on Yarn Over Hook, and I will happily answer any questions.
Thank you so much,
So,
Drew.
yeah.
Now it's time to ply.
Okay, so like I said, if we were thinking of traditional plying, you would be probably doing it maybe with like off a bobbin. You'd have more yarn, right? So we're making a little micro skein of yarn, and I'm going to be your bobbin for you to ply from, just so that you don't have to manage everything at once, and that way everybody can kind of have a good idea of what we're doing. So
we'll ply this together, and then can you show how to ply that one?
Yes.
On your own for
Yes.
people who don't have crochet partners, supportive crochet partners at home, or friends, or a Drew.
Well, so you can do this. You can do this yourself.
Okay.
I'm just going to be your extra hand.
Okay.
So if I was going to...
Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay.
So we're getting ready to apply this. So I've got my two ends. We're taking off the lid.
Oh, okay.
And then we're going to just slip this onto my hand. So you can do this yourself, but I'm going to be your bobbin, just so that we can have a little bit more clear instructions of what's going on.
Okay.
So we've now got our two ends.
Mhm.
So you're going to take your drop spindle.
Oh. Okay.
We're going to take our leader back. So we're going to get it set up the exact same way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Spinning this on here, going up the notch, and then around here and up.
So you're going to slip the two ends through the loop.
Okay.
Fold it over and pinch, just like before.
Mm-hmm.
So again, imagine I'm not a person. I am just a random bobbin, and we're just managing the fiber, but I'm helping manage it just to make it a little bit easier.
Okay.
So now, which way did we spin to start?
I
Which
spun
way did
counterclockwise.
So which way do we need to spin to ply?
Clockwise.
Clockwise. So we are going to start spinning that way.
Okay.
So you
I
can
let
now
go.
let go. And now you see, once again, the twist has traveled up.
Look, I'm plying.
So I can do a demonstration too I'll demonstrate with my spindle after how somebody on their own can do this. I just want people to be able to see. So you're not bringing out all the fiber at once, right? So there's still some on my hands.
Right.
And you're making sure that the two plies are kind of tensioned equally.
Ah, okay.
So now we're going to feed that in. And so what you can do is, with plying, take a lot of stop and starts, right? So take a look at this yarn. Are you happy with how it is looking plied? Do you want it looser or do you want it tighter?
Tighter.
Okay. So if we want it tighter, here, I can do that just to bring it up. So if we want the ply to be tighter, same thing as before. We're going to just add more twist.
And then in order for it to travel, then you just let it go.
Mm-hmm. So how about now? Are you happy with that? So same thing as we were spinning. We're going to wind it on.
Maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. This isn't the first time I have done this. Like, y'all, I'm keeping it a buck. This is the second time I have done this.
And the second time with me.
Yes. The first time I did it was literally, probably like exactly a year ago.
Really?
Like to the day. It was at the park. It was at one of our meetups. It might have been exactly a year ago was the last time I spun, and when you taught me how to do all of this. Okay, this I like.
Okay. So same thing as before. We're going to just wind it on, and again, the direction that you're winding on does not matter. That does not affect the twist. right? You can see it's just winding on in a straight line. The twist is not changing.
This is like perfect right here, this section. We can show this section here. This is my yarn. Or maybe on the camera. Let me change the mini cam. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. I am like so thrilled.
We're like just connected together.
I'm so thrilled. I know. Look at that. Look at my plying. Look at the yarn. Oh my gosh. Let me take a picture. I'll take a picture. I'll post it on Yarn Over Hook so y'all can get like really up close and personal. Hold on. I gotta clean my lens. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm shaking. I'm so happy. Wow. Okay, yeah, I'll post this. Okay. My yarn. My yarn.
My precious.
My precious. Okay. Okay, here we go. There's that. And post. Where is it? Oh, it's still uploading. There we go. Post. Okay, so y'all can see it up close and personal. Okay, so I'm spinning this on here.
Mm-hmm. Leaving enough for us to
Right.
loop.
Leaving enough to loop. Okay. And then I would move my hand too and do that.
Yeah.
And then
so you can pinch, like pinch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then spinning clockwise. Oh my gosh. I really see what you mean because there were moments where I was like, gosh, this is too thin. This is too thick.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, that doesn't come through at all. This looks so...
It's such a forgiving process.
It is such a forgiving... This is like fixing it in post.
Mm-hmm.
This is fixing it in post, like
it's
literally.
Honestly, it's like blocking.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So you do also have to block your yarn, which I'm sure you're like, but why if I have to block my project? So once you finish your yarn, you want to give her a soak. Warm water. If it's wool, just warm. I mean, if it's cotton or something like that, you can be less discerning with the temperature. Actually, I think with cotton yarn, you're supposed to boil it, like on the stove.
Like once you have your hank?
Yeah. So
interesting.
There's science. There's science behind everything. But with like a wool or animal fiber yarn, you just want to soak it. You know, if you use some soap, like just rinse out the soap. You're not agitating it because that will felt it. And then you just hang it up to dry. And what that does is it helps set the twist of the yarn. It helps relax all the fibers. So that way when you are ready to work on a project, your yarn isn't going to change in the blocking process, right? Because we all know that the blocking process can be magical and really change our finished object. And so that's why we also want to block our yarn, because we don't want to finish a project with yarn that we spun and didn't block and have it change in a way that we weren't expecting.
Like real, because it's already going to change to adjust for the tension of your work. Like that is, I feel like, how do I say? It removes that sense of uncertainty.
Yes.
Like a little bit of that uncertainty. So you already have the yarn, you've spun it, you've plied it, you have it. You don't know exactly how it's going to behave once it's blocked.
Right.
So you might as well block it now.
Right.
So then we get that done. And then you're only worrying about then blocking your tension and your stitch work and your project after. Not all of that at once. I couldn't imagine.
Well, and it's also, it's not like making a swatch. Like, because for some projects, you can skip the swatch. I skipped the swatch. I was like, swatch it and count. I'm like, but I want to do the fun part.
We talk about gauging all the time.
I know. Again, please, with the pitchforks, let me at least get a head start. I don't run very fast. So with this, I don't want you to have to think that, like, oh, if I've spun a bunch of yarn, I have to wash each one separately. No. I have various photos of yarn soup in which I have just thrown a bunch of skeins into the sink all together. You just let them hang out. The one thing that you need to be careful for is if you are working with roving that has been dyed by an independent dyer, much like yarn, it will sometimes bleed on the first wash. So if you think about it, the first wash might be when you're soaking your skein.
Yeah.
So please don't panic. I feel like historically, pinks and blues have a very high tendency to bleed when you wash them the first time. And because you're not using, you're not using high heat and you're not using acid, like it shouldn't stain the colors shouldn't transfer. You're just going to come out with very colorful water. And sometimes it's really frustrating because, I mean, I literally soaked a skein the other day and I was like, why is there so much color? But it doesn't matter. That's not going to change your yarn. And so you can always maybe do like colors together if you're blocking them for the first time, but you can soak them all together. You just let them sit in a warm water for 20 minutes and then you just hang them up to dry, which is the one thing that it being very, very hot in the summer can be helpful for if you are
right, or the Santa Ana wind
hanging yarn. When it's hot, it dries a little faster. When it gets a little cooler, it takes a little longer. You can get people will use salad spinners.
Really?
Yeah, like a lot of commercial dyers will dry their yarn and roving in salad spinners, and you can do that for your handspun as well, but you just hang it up to dry and you don't have to do anything fancy. There's some other things people think you should do to yarn. I'm not going to tell you about those because I just don't think that they're important.
Because I had asked you, how do you know how much to spin for a project?
Right.
And you had said people will spin, ply, block, and then work up a swatch for what they want to do.
Block the swatch. Do all the math.
Right. Do all of the math. Determine, okay, great. So this is going to cover this much amount of space. So I spun this much. I plied this much. I blocked it. This is how much I got. So now I need to ply this much.
But we're not doing that for our first spinning projects.
No.
That is if you have a very precious fiber and you're like, I want to make a specific project and the project calls for this amount of yarn at this amount of yarn weight and all of these things, like, okay, do the math. That's fine. But there's other things, like I'll just tell you because it's funny to look up. Some people thwack their yarn.
What does that mean?
When the yarn is wet.
Thwack.
No, literally.
Oh,
the yarn is wet. The yarn will be wet. And they go against a table and they go, thwack. Like,
wait, what does that do?
I'm not sure. Some people insist on it. They insist that it helps tighten the fibers and put them in their place.
So that's after they ply it and after they block it while it's wet. Take and thwack.
And you thwack it against a table. I'm like, but then the table's going to get wet. And you're going to get wet.
Interesting.
And so if you have a yarn, so let's say you're spinning a lace weight yarn and you want the single to be like, you really want the tension. What I do instead of thwacking is I'll hang the yarn and then I might just hang something that's weighted here. So I'll like clip a chip clip to add some weight to just add a little tension. And then again, otherwise when you're working the project, you're going to be tensioning. Right. When you block it, you're going to be tensioning. Right. So yeah, so I will now we'll do a second demonstration of plying on itself with a plying bracelet. And the thing that I really love, again, not sponsored, but the thing that I really love about the Talenti jar
is everybody going to go get some Talenti after this is over? Because I'm going to get some Talenti.
Okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Here you go. So the thing that I love is that it makes the bracelet big enough that if you have a lot of yarn that you need to ply and you need to take a break, you can just slip it around something else. So like you can even just kind of slip it back on the lid and then it won't get all tangled. Because if I were to take my hand out of this and let it go,
I can see that
it will get.
That's just like if you were to take a hank and untie all the things without putting it on something to hold it open.
It will become yarn barf.
Yeah.
So if I am wanting to bracelet ply.
Oh, can I do it?
Oh, yeah. Well, here, let me show them and then I can pass it to you.
Yeah.
So again, we're going to start the same way. And then I'm going to have my one hand. So again, I'm right-handed. So my right hand is always my fiber source. I'm going to have my right hand be feeding in the yarn. So I'm letting it spin. I'm pinching and I'm letting go. And the twist is traveling up. And so then I can say, okay, I'm happy with that. I'm going to wind it on.
What if you're unhappy with it?
Then
you're just unplying, replying, adjusting it.
Yep. You can, if I say, oh, I added too much twist, you just let it unspin for a little bit. So I will pinch this. Do you want to take the bracelet?
Yeah. So you said on the dominant hand, right?
And then you're going to use, here, we're going to pull a little bit so that you can pinch with, yeah. So you're going to be using your thumb and pointer finger to keep the twist here from getting into here.
Right.
So now you're going to...
Now I'm going to ply. So I'm spinning clockwise in order to do that. And then, oh, sorry, I want to match yours.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. And then once I'm here,
yeah,
I then park it, pinch,
and let more come out. And then you're just making sure like these are tensioned together.
Oh my gosh, you spun this so thin. Drew, you are incredible.
Sammy, that's thick yarn for me.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it. I knew you were gonna say that. You are a super lady.
I'm spinning some samples for a dyer who actually joined the guild. Her business is called The Ginger Needle. So she just started dyeing some roving, and they're so pretty. And I offered to spin some samples for her. And at a guild meeting, I showed off some of the yarn that I spun, and she pulled me aside and she was like, okay, so but like when you spin my yarn, you're not gonna spin it like that. I was like, no. I'm gonna spin it like regular yarn. So I have a few samples that I've already spun up, and I'm like focusing on like make it thicker. I need to put more fiber. It needs to look like real yarn.
That is so wild.
So the thing is that once you get down to spinning thin, it can be really hard to get back up. Most spinners will have a kind of default weight that you go to. It's kind of the same thing as like maybe having a preference for your hook size. Like, oh, I really prefer to crochet like with this hook size and this yarn weight. And oh, I could push myself to crochet with something thicker or thinner. But like a lot of my projects fall in like this range. It's kind of the same thing with spinning yarn. You will kind of find yourself finding a comfortable weight that you are used to spinning. And then the really fun thing is that if you want to have your finished yarn be thicker, all you have to do is add in an extra ply. So you don't have to push yourself necessarily to spin different singles. You just maybe have to push yourself to spin more of them so that you can have more to ply. And that is where, again, having a little spinning card comes in so that you can just kind of be keeping an eye on your consistency or like what weight of yarn
that would be very helpful.
You're aiming for.
You're checking for like even just the angle of the ply.
Yes.
Okay. And then say I'm like, oh, I gotta use the pony.
So, okay, wind it all the way on.
Okay.
So yeah, if you need to take a break while you're plying, same kind of thing as spinning. You're gonna wanna wind on as close to that as possible, and then we're gonna slip the rest of this on something to hold it.
How do I? Oh, this won't like spin into it.
Yeah, it's okay. You'll manage that when you pick it back up.
Okay, cool.
And then you can just put it down and say, okay, I'm gonna take a spinning break.
Spinning break.
And then it'll be there when you get back.
Great, I'm back. And then I just put it back on and keep going. Wow. Okay, so now I've plied.
So do you have a nitty knotty? No.
What is that?
Okay. I guess I did think I was like, why did I think that would just be something that everybody would have? I think because so much of spinning, guys, is honestly having your yarn and just winding it on from one thing to the other. And it's kind of annoying because to finish your yarn, it needs to be in a hank.
Right.
You don't want to store your hand spun in a ball or a cake typically because of the tension. You want the yarn to be able to be stored loose, which of course means that when you're ready to work with it, you have to skein it. Like you have to get a skein winder or like wrap it around something and then make it a ball. So a nitty knotty is this thing that allows you to make a hank.
Okay.
It's just look up a picture.
Yeah, let me look it up.
I would have brought one because I have a little 3D printed one. You can get really big ones, and they basically will tell you like the yardage, so you can easily calculate the yardage of your finished skein without having to sit there and count the whole thing. You just kind of count how many you have.
Oh, so it typically comes in a specific length?
They can come in different. They're typically labeled.
So then this would be like a yard.
Yeah.
And so like this is four like yards, but then you would multiply that by the number of strands that you have, or number of times that you wrapped it around.
Right.
Oh,
so if you don't have a knitting buddy, do you have a hardcover book that we could use?
Yes, that I do have. I have lots of books. I feel like this one's too big though. I didn't like ply that much. Let me do this. Is this okay?
Yeah. So you can take a book, a hardcover book, or a cardboard box. Like you could cut a piece of cardboard, and then what you're gonna do is important. Both ends of your yarn, you want to tie a knot. Lock in the twist.
Yes.
So we'll just tie a knot on that one end, and then same as before, just hold, hold, and then you can just wrap around like this, and then you go until you get to your leader again, untwist it.
Just like we did before.
And then we tie a knot in this end as well. And if you wanted to, you could tie, if you had a bigger amount of yarn, you would tie some little knots with a different piece of yarn just to keep everything aligned. But since this isn't too much, we can just slide it off. And then if you wanted to, you could make a little skein.
My little hay.
So then when you're washing it, you take it out of the skein. Like you untwist it. You just want it to be loose like this. But it's always nice to see your finished yarn in the skein because it kind of helps you see all of the yarn together.
Wow. Okay, so then, and it naturally twists in on itself because of that.
So it's very energized right now because you just spun it and you just plied it.
Right.
So it's very energized, but if you let it sit, you let it soak, you hang it to dry, it then just becomes like this, kind of loose and drapey. And you can see, a little, like you can still see a little twisty from like how it was stored in the skein. But once you work it up, that's not going to impact it at all.
Look at that. I did that.
You did that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm trying to get it back in this little knot so you can have a cute little hank.
So this, again, was called bracelet plying or plying the yarn back on itself to make a 2-ply.
Y'all, Toshi's in here.
Oh!
I have a Toshi hair. Toshi's in my hank. Friends, look at my little hank.
And the really nice thing about doing a bracelet ply is that you start and end at the same thing. So you're not wasting any of the yarn you spun.
Oh, yeah.
If you're thinking about like a traditional 2-ply or 3-ply where you're coming from different bobbins, of course, every craft has craft chicken. So bobbin chicken is where one of your bobbins runs out a lot sooner than the other. And then you go,
what do I do?
What do I do? I weighed them. I thought this would work. So what you can do is you take the remaining bobbin, ply that on itself, or, maybe you say, I just want to spin a little extra to match the bobbins.
Can you do a chain ply then?
You can do a chain ply.
Friends, I learned that today. I learned what a chain ply was. Do you want to show a chain ply real quick?
Yes.
You can finish this if you'd like.
Let me just, get this.
My hank. It's showing. It's like so blurry.
And now you could go and you could charge $50 for this yarn because it's hand spun.
All right, first bidder up, $100. Starting at $100, we got 2 ounces.
Not even. like 2 grams.
We got 2 grams. 2 grams handspun yarn live here on Yarn Over Hook. Yarn Over Hook is a free social media. You see what I did there? For crocheters. If you're looking for a crochet community, you have found it. You can join for free at yarnoverhook.com and maybe place a bidding, starting at $5 million. Just kidding. I'm keeping this forever.
Okay, so
this is so incredible.
we can do a quick chain plying demo because I was telling Sammy that it is basically a giant crochet chain that you then add twist to and ply.
It's actually incredible because you can do that. Say you only have 1 spindle.
Yep.
You don't want to do the bracelet ply.
Mm-hmm.
You just
still
want
need
to
to
ply
wind your yarn
from,
off.
Right. You just want to ply. It's really cool. Actually, it looks like interpretive dancing. I'm not gonna lie.
It is very physically involved.
It looks really cool. Bespoke micro skeins.
So
I had the same reaction the first time I applied. You can ask Drew. I was like freaking out. I was showing everybody at the park. It's like, wow, look what I did. And I made the teeniest, tiniest
you
bookmark.
made a bookmark.
I did. I made the teeniest, tiniest bookmark. I don't know where I put it. It might be in here. It might be tucked away. Oh, is that it? I'll post a picture on Yarn Over Hook. But I made the teeniest, tiniest little bookmark from my first spun plied yarn. It was so cool. And I felt this exact same thing. Oh my gosh. My baby.
Okay, could I ask you now to be my bobbin?
Mm-hmm.
So to chain ply, I took off the leader just because it's the same color of the yarn and I don't want it to get confusing. So you start with a slip knot.
Ta-da!
How fun. And then you just start by pulling through a little bit more yarn. So now I'm going to just slip my start. And if you look, we now have 3 separate pieces of yarn, aka the start of a 3-ply. And so your starting chain is going to be small. That's okay because it's the end of the yarn and you don't start your project with the very end of your yarn anyway. You leave a tail.
Right.
So it doesn't matter how this looks. We just need that starting slip knot and that starting chain. And then it's the same kind of thing. You're just kind of always managing where your fingers are and you're pulling. So with my right hand,
so y'all can see 3 strands.
Pulling out this loop and my right hand is our crochet hook. So I'm going to come through and I'm going to pull that yarn through. And now I'm going to say, okay, before I add more, right, I'm going to spin these. And these...
Oh, this is S-twist. So you'll want to go clockwise?
Okay. Yes. So now I'm going to add some twist. And now we have a 3-ply yarn. You will obviously wonder, well, can't we see the start of that chain? Like, aren't we going to see
like that knot?
These 2 loops?
Mm-hmm. This right here.
If you look really closely, yes. But you, again, have to think about the finished process. If you are spinning this yarn to put it under a microscope, you're going to see the little loops. But if you're spinning this yarn to make yarn and then you block the yarn and then you crochet or knit or weave it into something, at a glance, can you easily pick out?
That's like not... Because that was my question, was like, can't you see where that basically, where it looped together, where that link is?
Mm-hmm.
And Drew sat here on her project, because you did it on that yarn.
This one. Yeah.
On the yarn that she spun for me. And like, she could find it because she knew where to look, but I don't.
If it's a single color like this, you're going to have a hard time. If you have a multicolor, like single, that you can more easily see the color transitions on a chain ply, there might be places that, again, if you're like staring at it like this, you'll be able to pick it out, but otherwise you're not going to be able.
And Altered actually made a good point. I love chain plying for preserving color changes in yarn. So like if we were to do a ply like what we were doing before, and we want the colors to change together, then that might be a bit more difficult. You'd have to align that. That would be a lot of like aligning and like paying attention to your tension for the spinning, for the plying. Like that would be a lot.
So this is actually one of the samples that I spun. So see, this is normal yarn. It's not teeny tiny.
It's okay. This is
it's
like
normal yarn.
This is like DK.
It's normal yarn. Say it.
This is DK, girl. You're getting closer to normal yarn.
So this I chain plied, and this is from the Ginger Needle. So she's an indie dyer. So like it's gonna be, the roving is gonna be a little bit more blended. You're not just gonna have like if I was spinning like this color and then another color, there'd be those more stark transitions. Like with this, you can see the very distinct, like that one's more green. This is the blue. Here's a gray. They're not kind of all blended together. There will be just...
Is that because you chain plied this?
I chain plied this. So just...
That makes sense. That's
when there's the transition spaces, there will be some of that blending. So you can see kind of the blue and the green.
But then it blends really nicely. There's none of that like stark like change of color. That is so cool.
So like if you are like, think about like if you have like, you want to spin like a rainbow yarn and you're like, well, I don't want every color to be mixed with every other color. I want like a color transition. You would chain ply it.
Then you can control it because she's taking that one strand and say like this was multiple colors. If I had a variegated, I have like this one, but say like this is all a bunch of different colors. So like this section here is blue. Then you could, so then you can control the width of the chain as well.
If your color transitions are smaller, maybe you make smaller chains like this. Or if you have a really long, again, you want to be you're kind of limited by the length of your arms. I don't have very long arms. So you might say, okay, this is a longer, like this section is all one color. So I'm going to make a longer chain. So the chains don't, obviously when you're actually crocheting a crochet chain, you want consistent tension. You want your chain to be a consistent length for your project. But when you're chain plying, you're not sitting there with a ruler saying, okay, is this one exactly 7.5 inches? Or this one is, 9 inches and this one's 3.
No,
it doesn't matter.
It's spinning, you're spinning it into each other. Like it's going over that connection where basically like that chain would start and end. And yeah, that's really cool. When she first showed me, I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Because I've seen people do it. Like if you wanted to crochet with more than one strand of yarn, but you only have one ball and you don't want to pull from both ends, then you can chain ply. I've seen several crocheters do this.
You can chain ply. You can ply commercial yarn. So if you are like, I want to spin yarn.
What we're doing right now.
But plying sounds really confusing. Maybe you say, I've got the spinning part down, but the plying part seems really confusing. Play with some of your commercial handspun. That's not your most expensive, precious. You don't have to use a whole ball. Just cut a length and practice blending the multiple links together. And then again, guess what? At the end, you can undo it. So you're not even wasting your yarn. So you don't have to feel like, oh, I'm spending all this time and I'm wasting yarn just for knowledge. Nope.
Just for knowledge.
Just the pursuit of knowledge. You undo it. We come back. It's done. But again, it's just that simple. You just start. I say as I now struggle. And you're just using your fingers as the hook, going through, making that chain. It looks really weird and wonky in your hand. And then you add the twist, and it looks like yarn.
Now it's plied. Here, we'll show in the mani cam. I'll hold this when you want to get set up. That is so cool. And we just turned our S-twist into Z-twist yarn.
Yeah. So that's another thing, is if there's like a commercial yarn that you're like, I really want to crochet with this, but I've done a sample and I feel like it's not working for how I want it, you can just ply it again.
Ply it into itself. Here, I'm gonna show that.
Ooh.
Ooh, ah. So now it's just plied into itself. That's one strand. This is DK. So we just turned it into, what is that? Probably like a...
Well, here. So we go
perfect.
from... what? I'd say 11. No, 14.
Mm-hmm.
And then you always, again, I always have to look up the conversion from the number of the WPI to what weight it is.
Alexis has a cheat sheet.
I need it, like, glued to my body. Because every time, I'm like, I don't remember.
So,
wait,
we don't have that in here.
And then we can
The
take our
whips.
plaid yarn, and I would say that looks more like a 7.
Because that's the WPI.
Mm-hmm.
I think Riri has a page for
I
that,
just
a
always
blog
type into
post.
Google WPI to yard weight.
Oh, there we go. 14 is DK, I think. Cool. And now it's a, what did you say it was?
It's like 7.
Altered stitch, what is a 7? Roman, this is awesome. I know I keep saying it, but I'm learning so much. Yay!
And then we can go here too, onto the other side of the card. And we can see, I would say, right now this is maybe like 20 degrees in terms of the spinning angle, which again,
that just
do
kinda
I
tells
ever look
you
at this
that-
card?
Yeah, it just
The
tells
back
you
of
like
this
how
card?
tightly it's
Yeah.
plied.
This is more so that you could make a reproducible yarn. That if you have a skein of yarn
Mhm.
and you say, I took no notes, I don't personally know anybody who would ever craft and not take any notes.
No, I take notes all the time.
I take notes all the time. I would never say, I will for sure remember this in
I've
my
been
brain.
taking notes this entire time. I will definitely not be contacting Drew later and asking questions because
when I made my first soap sack out of crochet, like with crochet, I was like, I can just make up a pattern and I'll remember it. And then the second night, I was like, God, I really should have taken notes.
it just took a vacation. Her knowledge took a vacation when she needed it most.
So
7 is chunky.
So
there
some
we
of
go.
some of these numbers is more if you have a skein, you don't remember spinning it. Again, and I would never not remember spinning a skein of yarn.
No, absolutely not.
I did not bring a skein of yarn today.
Legit,
and pull it out and
she
be like,
sat here for like
I'm like,
10
this?
minutes looking at it,
I
trying
have
to
no
figure
memory of
out
this.
what it is.
I have absolutely no memory of this.
It's thin too.
And
That
that's
is
the
so
thing.
thin.
Is because lately I'm
It
like,
looks
I really
so
want to
good.
spin my first thin like lace weight yarn like for that show. And I guess I already did it.
Yeah, I mean that's it
And
right
I have
there.
no memory of it. I don't know what
You
this
just
fiber
go.
is.
Drew
When
just
I
goes.
spun it. For what? I don't know.
Oh, that is so fun. So do you have your favorite, what's your least favorite Hank? And your favorite Hank that you have with us currently?
Let me see. I don't think I have a least favorite that I brought because
Gosh, all of these are so pretty.
I wanted to only bring good ones. So I'll just show
Yeah, let's
off
just
some
show
of
off
my-
some more Hanks, like, before we wrap up. This has been incredible.
Yeah, so this is a really fun one. This isn't cotton. No.
I love it. It's like, as you're, like, looking
I'm
at
like,
it, it's,
what's
like,
this?
flipping up into the camera.
So this is like a confetti roving, or
That is so nice. That's so
it's like
fun.
called confetti, or I don't. Every like dyer has a different name for it,
Mhm.
but it's just like basically like a white base with tweedy colors, like the rainbow tweedies.
It's so fun.
I think this one is probably
I can't
closer to 8
believe you
ounces.
spun that. How? And that one you said you did on a wheel, right?
yeah. So all of this was on a drop spindle.
That is so
These were for
much.
sure on a wheel.
How long did that take you to drop spin that Hank, the confetti one?
I don't
Drew just disassociates as soon as she starts spinning. She's like, "This is it.
remember. I don't.
This is all I'm doing
clearly,
right now."
It's like so weird. You know how you can have a really good memory for some things?
Yeah.
And then absolutely just not even existent memory for other things? Like legitimately, I should just put my handspun away in a closet for a year and then set a timer and be like, you have a gift to yourself. And I'll be like, oh my God, who spun these? Who put these in my closet? And put a timer on my phone in colors that I like.
I love it. I love it.
So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, because I Yeah.
'Cause this one is so much fun. I love this.
In preparing for this, I was like, wow, I have more Handspun that I haven't done anything with than I probably thought I did.
That is hilarious.
Because I just grabbed one bag. I was like, I'll just bring one bag of Handspun. And then like the ones that I've been working on. So
wow.
Yeah, so like these, I think these are all, this is a 2-ply, this is a 2-ply, this is a 2-ply. Wow, so, okay, so these are all 2-plies. This one is a 3-ply, so this one is chain plied the same way as the one that I made for Sammy, just in the opposite direction. So the twist is opposite. And if here we can do a close-up because I wanted Sammy to be able to have a very fun hand-spun yarn to play with. So there is, as discussed, wool, silk, alpaca, and cotton. So you can see the silk is the like little shinier bits. Wool is so shiny. Silk.
Oh,
Actually, there is some wool that can also be very shiny. When you spin, sometimes the sheen of the yarn is so gorgeous.
Yeah.
You like go from this roving that looks kind of mottled and then you like spin it up and you're like, wow.
Mottled, what does that mean?
Just like kind of dull or like all of that. So silk is very, very shiny and it gives, of course, that nice little pop of softness. These little pops of white are the cotton, and then there's also some white mohair blended in. But basically, the point of all of that is to say, like, you can blend a whole bunch of different fiber types together.
How long did this take you?
So I blended all the fiber, which took me maybe like 15 minutes, because I recorded myself making like one cup, filling the board once, and then I did a second one just to make sure. Spinning was probably a few hours.
Okay.
And the plying, I think the plying was less than an hour because that felt like it went really fast.
So could you confidently say like 5 hours, 6 hours total?
I would say less, like or less.
But yeah, this is so fun. Oh my gosh, I have my own yarn. Thank you again so much for this. Thank you so much for learning us today. Oh my gosh, we learned so much.
Does anybody have like any final questions just before? Again, you can always contact me. I'm available. But before we log off, if somebody's like, I'm going to go order something immediately, but I have a question before I do.
Yeah, are there any other questions? This was amazing. Thank you, ladies. Of course, Melissa, thank you so much for hanging out. Our neighborhood. Oh my gosh. Oh goodness.
Oh my God.
Sharon, take care. Be safe. Our mentor swears by Flagger's tape. Flogger's tape. You can make fiber content and yardage.
You can make
for
tags
memory's sake.
to but again, that comes into the notes.
Making notes and
like,
everything.
Yeah, there are people in the guild who have the most detailed little note tags for their fiber. And I'm like, that's nice.
That's cute. I love that for you.
Yeah, I'm like, I would love to. If I had like a little magical assistant that I could.
Oh, Alexa said share the Rumpelstiltskin lore.
Okay. So there is both, I would say both Rumpelstiltskin and Sleeping Beauty has a very entangled history, no pun intended, with spinning. And the really interesting thing is, so actually Jillian Eve has a video that she made about Sleeping Beauty and the spinning wheel, because you're like, well, if you've ever seen a spinning wheel, you're like, what's sharp on that? Like, there's not like you don't have like a needle on your spinning wheel. I think like in a lot of imagery, there's a needle that's just poking straight up. So with Sleeping Beauty, what was probably on the wheel was a distaff, which is basically a place for storing your fiber. You like tie it on to the wheel so that you're not holding it in your hand. You're just kind of pulling it from the wheel. Or what is called a quill style spinning wheel. So instead of having bobbins that you spin off of, imagine that you're just spinning off of the back like of this. So this would be the quill. And this would be spinning, and you're like spinning off of it, and you're winding it on here. Okay. And this maybe looks like it would be sharp. And again, some man probably was like, oh,
yeah, that looks dangerous.
So dangerous. So there's that. But the story of Rumpelstiltskin, typically in a lot of translations, I don't know, like in the original languages and all of that, but a lot of the English translations, we think of spinning straw into gold.
Yeah.
And you think, well, like, huh? Like, magically, I guess, because straw is maybe readily available, like very cheap, and then you're turning it into this very valuable resource.
Right.
So that would be like a very cool magical power to have.
Mm-hmm.
But it was probably flax.
Interesting.
Because flax is golden, right? If we think of the old term flaxen-haired, which I feel like maybe isn't as common, but like if you read like older literature,
it's definitely in Grimm's fairy tales.
Flaxen-haired was basically like a golden blonde, which we both are, obviously.
Yeah.
So we're both flaxen-haired maidens. So as we both have our hair out flowing golden, we put it away so that you guys wouldn't be jealous.
Right. We didn't want you guys to be distracted.
Right. But flax, like when you're spinning again, when you're spinning and you're aligning all of the fibers together, that can really bring out a sheen. Like it creates that like beautiful luster. And so freshly spun flax into linen often looked golden. And because it's such a valuable fiber, again, so labor intensive. You have to grow the flax, you have to like process it, then you have to spin the linen, and you have to do all of these things. This was a durable, sought after material that might actually be worth its weight in gold. So
there we go.
Instead of spinning straw into gold, it was probably people spinning flax into gold.
There we go. There's the Rumpelstiltskin lore. Now y'all can go and tell people when anyone says like, "Oh, I'm spinning straw into gold," you can be like, "That's flax."
Well, but if somebody says they can do it and they prove it, kidnap them, bring them to us,
put them up in the tower, tell them to spin for you.
Yes.
And linen only gets softer with wear too.
Yes.
Hi, Jeannie.
Linen is like very durable, like, and it is, some things obviously now in our modern age, like you can buy something and it'll wear out really fast. And a lot of these older materials, but particularly linen, was super, super durable. That's why like linen blends.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes working with pure linen can be a challenge.
Yeah.
Because again, if you think of the staple length, it's very long. So it
Right.
might not be as like pliable.
Right.
If you're crocheting or knitting with it. For weaving, great, because it's a straight line, straights, like lots of just like whoop, whoop. But yeah, it was definitely a very highly valued fiber, along with the ancient wools. We know a lot of people in different parts of the world were wearing wool from their various fiber animals. Cotton all over the world, and then you get into the natural dyeing like indigo. There are so many different types of native indigo, and I don't even
wow.
In different regions of the world, they all have like their own native indigo plant. It wasn't even like traded around.
Like a dying demo with Yumi and Alexis.
Yes.
And we'll like post up at Alexis's place and like do a whole demo on dying. Right. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, this was incredible. Let's do one last cheers. Perfect. One last water break, guys. Cheers. We went through water. Unclaw your hands and strip your pasta. Friends, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us today. It was absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, Drew.
Thank you so much.
Friends, contact Drew, follow her Instagram. If you have any questions on spinning, reach out to her on Yarn Over Hook or Instagram. Don't forget to check out the new video that was released today, part 5 of the Great Summer Mosaic Crochet Along. If you have not checked out the latest episodes of the Crochet Stitch and Exploration Crochet, make sure you check that out at Crochet Podcast. What happened? There we go. crochetpodcast.com.
Like, no.
I know. This was incredible. This was so incredible. Thank you again. Good luck with your spinning, everybody. I hope that you were able to take some things away from today's live, and I will see y'all on Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. And I think that's it. Thank you so much again, Drew.
And if a magical creature asks for your firstborn, say no.
Say no. Thank y'all so much. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody. Bye. Before we go, I want to give a huge shout out to our YouTube members. Thank you so much for your support. Your membership helps us to create videos just like this one. Thank you again so much for supporting the Yarn Over Hook team, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye! Yarn Over Hook, social media for crocheters. Create, learn, and connect with other crocheters from around the world. Join for free today at yarnoverhook.com.